they probably for a minute just thought he was a big Georgia fan.
You let it pass for a little bit.
That's right. And they're like, well, we're out of season here, and then, now won't stop.
Then
now he's lifted his leg and he's pissing on the air filters.
Does he have earbuds in? Is he listening to Buck and Joe on AM 680? No. Then you ask him where his driver's license is, and he still barks.
He's got a touched-up beard to do a lot of meth, right?
He really does. I mean,
he's well put together, other than the fork fight he got into.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to know the story behind that.
He's got the sores that you might see with somebody that's rolling around with meth,
right?
But then he's got the trimmed-up beard. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, see, those spots are where the bugs were in his skin.
Is that legitimate?
There's something that is very common with meth users.
They have bugs?
They'll think they have bugs under their skins, and they'll start scratching their face until you get big old sores like that.
No, you know
Learn
more
something
about meth
new every day.
You know more about meth than I thought you did.
Tyler is a wealth of
knowledge. Have you met
knowledge.
Tyler's roommate? No, I'm kidding.
I have not.
I don't have a roommate.
Not me either back in the day. Good for you.
Nice.
You're going to have to help us out on this story a little bit because I got a little confused. An Idaho man's theft scheme involving a literal crime ring and a soup barcode just landed him in jail.
Oh, wow.
Now, Dylan Rockwell.
What did Ush do?
32 years old, admitted he looks a lot older than 32, by the way. This guy. 32 admitted to police that he used a ring with a hidden barcode for tomato soup to steal high-value items from a Walmart.
Okay. I mean, this could happen. That's why you got to have that one person there checking everything when you're doing it.
Boy, they don't pay attention, and they don't want you to ask them a question.
Yeah, and
it's the worst checkout method ever.
And then when I walk up, I'm always like, you need to see my receipt? No, man, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Now, Rockwell allegedly scanned the ring instead of the actual product barcodes to pay a fraction of their cost. The incident occurred Sunday evening when officers responded to a reported theft in progress at Walmart. While police were en route to the scene, Rockwell exited the store heading westbound in his vehicle. Rockwell was detained at his residence, and the stolen merchandise, including a grill valued at $300, was recovered by the CPD. Now, wouldn't you think that you've got to make the items somewhat close?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do myself a favor. I'm going to save 30 or 40% on these items.
That's right. I'm not going to steal a grill and swipe a stick of deodorant and be like,
Yeah, like if I saw a grill, if I saw a guy paying for it and it said $129 to $400, I'd be like, okay.
I got a good deal.
But $7, I'm going to be like,
it's not an idiot. Brian Daboll.
Oh, yeah. That is, it's much closer.
Yeah. That's what Daniel says. Brian Daboll is really falling off.
Yeah. He should have scanned for a quarterback.
No, Brian Daboll's he's lost a lot of weight.
Yes.
Also, I just saw in the chat, EG's after you.
Yeah, she's a bit upset, Jim.
What did she say?
Please. She's not going to forget this one.
She'd rather be compared to a man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in a sense, that's what Jim was doing.
And not really a man.
I mean, say it without saying it is what I'm trying to do there. That is the show brought to you by, not the show, but Trash brought to you by friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have that big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages, 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
Still trying to help you as you fill out your bracket. Last night, Maryland loses at Ohio State. Quality win for Ohio State on a banked three-point shot with 7 seconds left. 73-70, Ohio State won the game. Both those teams will be in the tournament. San Francisco upset St. Mary's. That's a quad one win for San Francisco. We are drunk on quad one wins in the SEC. We're drunk on them to show you how the rest of the world lives. This is a quote from the Field of 68. San Francisco is now 1-2 in quad one wins. They have no...
Business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
There's no off-season at covercrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at covercrimson.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at scottforestertv. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
New AP basketball poll will be out later today. I think Auburn will still be number one. We'll hear what these guys think a little bit later on. Not that it matters, though, because I believe we'll get our 1-2 matchup that we dreamed about because Duke lost. That's coming up Saturday. We'll get to basketball probably in the second segment. We'll start with Super Bowl here, but a lot to get to on the show today. I don't know if that was the first time I ever watched the Super Bowl with my wife, just me and her. But at one point in the first half, she was like, is it just me or is this boring? And I was like, not if you dislike the Kansas City Chiefs. This is not boring. This, if you are cheering against a three-peat, if you are cheering against the Chiefs, that was heaven yesterday. It was a dominating performance. I know you guys said on Friday you thought the Eagles would win the game. There's no way, Lance, you ever imagined it would look like that.
No, because I said this multiple times. Pat Mahomes just doesn't have bad games, and he goes out, his QBR, 11.4, the second lowest QBR since they've been keeping that number, that stat, since 2006. He was bad, and you just don't see that. And this is a team that plays so many one-possession games. They win them all. They were 12-0 in one-possession games this year. I never saw that coming. I did have Philadelphia in the under. I loved how the first half played out. Now, look, if you didn't have any skin in the game at all, that was a really, really boring Super Bowl. But Philadelphia was just physically dominant, and I think we kind of just slept on how good Philadelphia was all year. Outside of the 36-33 loss on December 22nd to Washington, and that's when Hurts went out with a concussion. The last time they lost a game with Hurts in the lineup was way back in September. Yeah. This was a really good Eagles team that got overshadowed because they were playing a team going for a three-peat.
Yeah, 2-2 before their bye week. 16-1 since then, the world champion Eagles.
You mentioned the 2-2 start. Furman, I forgot to bring this up to him Friday, but he said looking back at the NFL season, probably the most shocking thing is that the Saints were favored over the Eagles in week 2. I mean, think about that. The Saints were favored over the Eagles in week 2.
Didn't the Saints have a really good
they
week
had
one?
those two good weeks.
Yeah.
Didn't they beat the Eagles? Yeah. That was part of it, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I remember week 1, the Saints
they were dominant.
Great, and I was like,
they were the story of the NFL in the first 2 weeks. That shows you how things could change.
Yeah, not only were they 2-0 and dominant, but the Eagles were 2-2 coming out of September, and then you went back to after the 6-1 start last year. Everybody blamed Sirianni on the complete meltdown that was 2023. But man, that team, especially the defense, and Vic Fangio has got to be the guy giving all the credit for that.
I mean, what in the world? To be able to pressure Mahomes like nobody ever does. I've never seen Mahomes pressured that way.
Brown, look at this. He had 42 dropbacks in the game, 42 dropbacks. They had 16 pressures and 6 sacks. They didn't blitz one time the entire game. Not one time.
That is impossible.
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, the crazy thing is everybody was like, man, this flu is running rampant, and it really is hitting Philadelphia up front defensively. And then everybody talked about Philadelphia's offensive line was a little banged up. I mean, the problem was KC's offensive line and Philadelphia's defensive line was dominant.
Yeah, I cannot believe you could do that to Mahomes without blitzing. I mean, that is just – it's impossible to do that, and they did it somehow.
But usually when you watch Mahomes, and I know you guys in the chat room – probably get frustrated by watching him scramble sometimes. When he's on his game, it seems like he's got eyes in the back of his head, and he'll spin and go to the left and find open space, or he'll spin and go to the right and find open space. Last night when he would spin to get out of trouble, it was like he was running right into somebody's arms every time. Like if he zigged, he should have zagged, and if he zagged, he should have zigged all night long. It seems like there was an eagle waiting on him on every spin.
Tom Brady doesn't repeat things much often, right? I'm kidding. But how many times did he say, this guy is not comfortable with his legs and his feet? He wasn't. Yeah. When you watch the footwork or lack thereof for Pat Mahomes, he just never was comfortable in the pocket.
And then the uncharacteristic interceptions. That's what was so stunning about Mahomes, is that it looked like he just lost his focus and composure.
That first one.
I mean, that's just you would see that on a college football Saturday, and you're like, dude, you cannot throw that pass.
Yeah.
How do you not see that guy?
Yeah, well, this kid's a freshman. Everybody remember, I mean, you're right. That goes back to freshman year in college. We're not going to throw that pass.
And then a crappy effort on trying to get him to the ground. I mean, he lets Jean go into the end zone. Nobody from the Chiefs, I guess, are used to tackling.
Pretty cool on his 22nd birthday to get a pick six off of one of the greatest of all time. But I thought, Jalen Hurts' only turnover of the postseason, that was a terrible read that left points on the table right there.
It was, but then you also had when the Chiefs went for that late fourth down and the defender undercut the route. That's another pick six if he's able to hold on to it. I mean, that could have just been it was already the most disastrous night in Mahomes. I mean, he faced the largest deficit he's ever seen as a pro.
Yeah, I want to know the chat room if they heard this stat. Because at some point in the third quarter, in the same building that it happened, and if you're an Alabama fan, you know where I'm going with this. At some point, they're like, I think it was Brady said, the Chiefs haven't even been over midfield yet. They haven't snapped one ball. I think it was 2:23 in the third quarter when they finally had a snap in Philadelphia territory, and instantly I went back to Saban getting revenge in 2011, Alabama and LSU, when it took LSU forever to finally cross midfield in that same building.
Well, I had not registered with me, Lance, that Kansas City had not crossed midfield. You just don't see that in an NFL game.
I was talking to our buddy C. Stu, and I said, I can't imagine what the number – one thing I didn't see is what kind of odds you could get on Kansas City getting shut out in this game.
Yeah.
And, there was, 6 minutes left in the third quarter. I was like, would you take it right now? And he's like, I wouldn't do it. They're still going to score.
Yeah.
I did hate those garbage touchdowns at
I
the
did
end
too.
because it felt like a 40-6 game, not a 40-22 game.
Not just the garbage touchdowns, but like the garbage Kelsey yards. Philadelphia will never get credit for taking one of the greatest tight ends to ever play out of the game.
Yep.
Because he got a lot of garbage yardage there at the end. I mean, if you go watch before Philadelphia just basically backs off and says, y'all can do whatever you want, we're going to make you burn clock until they hit that one bomb to Xavier Worthy. I mean, there was nothing on offense for them.
Yeah, and that game to me felt like a complete under 48.5. And then it just popped in the fourth quarter.
Well, it should have been 40-6. That was the game, 40-6.
Yeah.
And I mean, Philadelphia substituted Kenny Pickett, played in the Super Bowl. They put their backup running backs, all the healthy backup offensive linemen, backup DBs, and that's when those garbage touchdowns happened.
Man,
it was ones on ones. It was a 40. 40. I'm not upset because I lost money or anything. I didn't have any money on it, but it was 40-6. That's the way.
You spray the board on a Tuesday night. You didn't play the Super Bowl at all.
I didn't play any. I didn't play one prop. I didn't play anything.
Which is funny.
I find that hard to believe. How?
I just didn't get around to it. I was busy all day.
I didn't get around a lot going on Sunday.
Yeah.
I didn't
get back from freaking Auburn until like 1 a.m. on Saturday.
Because you and Furman had talked about that Harrison Butker field goal total. Because I kind of agree with you guys. Like 1.5. Butker kicks all the time. How could that not go over 1.5?
Surely they're going to have some, red zone drives that stall out.
I told Dunaway, Lance, Butker didn't even touch the field except to kick off. Guy didn't kick a field goal to kick an extra point. They just kept going for 2. I mean, I could not. Just everything about that game that you thought you knew would happen did not happen.
Yeah, and box score is not always going to tell the story, but if you would have just told me 2 things, that Pat Mahomes, your leading rusher for Kansas City yesterday, with 25 yards and 3 turnovers for Kansas City, you know who wins.
Well, if you'd have told all I needed, you're absolutely right on that. All you'd had to tell me is Philadelphia didn't blitz one time, and I would have been like, my God, how bad did they beat them if they didn't blitz one single time?
Of course, if I would have told you, what did Saquon had like 20 yards at halftime and they were up 24-0?
Yeah, I mean, Saquon he wasn't a non-factor, but he was certainly
very
not
pedestrian.
He was not an MVP level factor that everybody thought he had to be for them to win that game.
And LT said it earlier. The game was won by offensive and defensive lines of the Eagles. The defense set the tone and dominated the game, and then the offensive line gave Jalen Hurts plenty of protection to throw to the receivers. They had a great game plan. The Eagles are your Super Bowl champion. We'll talk Jalen Hurts.
a person who gave me great Lance vibes yesterday in the Super Bowl. I'll tell you who that is, some other amazing stats. Show being brought to you today by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Tell us about the fine folks at Michelson.
Yeah, I get an opportunity to see them later today. Just great people. Dr. Mark Michelson, a pioneer in this industry, the first to perform the LASIK procedure way back in 1995. Make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. If you wear the contacts or the glasses, you're wasting money each and every year. I'm speaking from experience. Put it down, make the phone call, stop procrastinating. 205-969-8100 for more information. MichelsonLaserVision.com.
And you can play all the big basketball games coming up. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Interesting one tonight, Lance. You probably have it up.
Oh, can I guess?
Yeah.
North Carolina at Clemson.
It's just such a skinny number. Like North Carolina, I know they've played better of late, but they're only a 5.5-point dog at Clemson.
They got a big win over the weekend. And
yeah.
Clemson just beat Duke. I guess they're factoring in the comeback.
Still a big number.
Yeah. I thought maybe you were factoring in the Clemson's got to come down really get their feet on the ground.
There's no doubt about that. No, there's no doubt about that. Anyway, you can play that game right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round.
I am going to play that one.
I'm sure you will. As Lance said, spray the old board.
I love it. 99% of America illegally gambles on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
1% probably never gambles on college basketball, but you do the flip the opposite way.
That's my Jimmy D
and
right
you
there.
loved Kansas City by double digits on Friday.
I did. I'm glad I didn't play it. I got money to play North Carolina and Clemson now at my bookie.
That's true.
Well, which route you going right there? Do you know?
I don't know yet.
Okay. You're going to get back to us on that one? You can play it right there, though. Clemson, a 5.5-point favorite over North Carolina there tonight in Clemson. All right, mybookie.ag. Code next round for that. That is a 50% bonus up to $1,000 that you could get right there in the sports book. So many of you like the casino. We've still got that casino bonus for you as well. When you sign on there at mybookie.ag, use code TNR Casino, you get a 300% casino bonus up to $2,000. So code next round in the sports book for that 50% bonus up to $1,000, 50% up to $1,000, and code TNR Casino for that 300% bonus up to $2,000. When you go to mybookie.ag, bet anything, anytime, anywhere at mybookie.ag.
Okay, first off, a stat that I think it was either Lance or Brown brought it up. It was in our radio days, and I didn't believe it to be true then, and I still didn't believe it to be true when it was finally broken last night. But Devontae Smith became the first drafted Alabama player to score a point in a Super Bowl. The first drafted Alabama player to score a point in the Super Bowl. So that means Bart Starr didn't sneak one over.
Correct.
It means that Kenny Stabler or Joe Namath didn't run one into the end
I think
zone.
all those guys had passing touchdowns,
Yeah.
but that's not how this stat works in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Alexander not getting one for the Seahawks when as good as they were.
Yeah.
He was the league MVP that year.
Yeah, I
wasn't
would think anytime touchdown, he would have been minus 150, 175 to score a touchdown. But I remember him not scoring a touchdown.
Bobby Humphrey got some totes for the Broncos in a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't get it in. I mean,
I found that to be an amazing stat. When Jalen Hurts snuck it into the end zone the first time the Eagles and the Chiefs played, he was an Oklahoma drafted quarterback because he played at Oklahoma last, though he's an Alabama alum. It's a crazy stat, but Devontae finally breaks that seal for a great football program in Super Bowl history. Alabama, though, becomes let me thread the needle here. Jalen Hurts makes Alabama now the leader of alums to quarterback and win a Super Bowl. Alabama had been tied with Purdue with Lynn Dawson, Bob Greasy, and Drew Brees. Bama has Bart Starr, Joe Namath, Ken Stabler. Alabama now has the lead. Now, this isn't total Super Bowls.
I'm going to guess Bama sent this out.
No, it actually came from CBSSports.com. Didn't come from Alabama. So Alabama now has 4 alums to quarterback and win a Super Bowl, breaking the tie with Purdue. It's not total wins because Michigan and Brady skews that. I mean, you got to add up a lot to catch that. It's just different people to win Super Bowl at quarterback. But more amazingly is Jalen Hurts' story. He's now the MVP of the Super Bowl. He's now a Super Bowl champion. There you see the difference 2 years can make from the Eagles there. Him walking off. He did all he could do 2 years ago to beat the Chiefs, and they couldn't hold him out at the end. But now he's holding up the Super Bowl trophy, the Lombardi, and the MVP. And he talked afterwards about the ride he's been on, and it takes him back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Things come right on time. And, the last time around, it wasn't our time. It wasn't my time. And sometimes you have to accept that you have to wait your turn, and dealing with all the, everything that came with the last Super Bowl, you still kind of leave it empty a little bit because as great as a performance was, it wasn't enough to win. And I think going through those emotions and processing those things and processing that experience lit a great flame in me and enhanced my desire to win. I'm that same kid that, went to the national championship and lost and went back and, got benched and had to transfer and had to go through this just unprecedented journey. And that kid always kept the main thing, and always was true to his vision and what he saw. Like I said, it's only the beginning until it's the end, and the end ain't coming anytime soon.
Yeah, still very young. He's played in 2 Super Bowls now.
Interesting philosophy. It's always the beginning until it's the end.
Yeah. I'd never heard that one.
Didn't really get that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think if you wake up every day and you start today like it's day one of the grinding, you got to wake up and #grind.
I will tell you, man, it is an incredible story. It's something we will never see again. I mean, who gets benched at halftime of a national championship game, then transfers out? And he made the right decision. People can be critical of Lincoln Riley. If he doesn't go to Norman,
I agree completely.
He's not in this situation.
He did show that next year. I think Dan Enos got a lot of credit for developing him a little bit that next year.
As a passer.
Passer, because Dable, obviously, after that game, went on to the NFL with the Bills as a coordinator. And Dan Enos took over as quarterbacks coach. And a lot of people said he was working a lot with Hurts. And when you saw him replace Tua in 2018, during the season, before even the SEC championship game when he was forced in, you could tell a difference in him. And you always wondered, okay, is this just garbage time and he's playing twos or whatever? I don't know. But you could see a little bit of difference in him. And then he was forced into that game in the SEC championship game, and you could definitely see a difference in him. Like, he looked like a starter right there, but nothing compared to what Lincoln Riley squeezed out of him at Oklahoma.
I was on with our friend Mick Gillespie yesterday. We're doing a little Super Bowl pre, talking about props and talking about Alabama quarterbacks in this game. And I said, really, going into the playoffs, when we looked at this, and I think we talked about it on the air, like, to me, Mahomes was the 4th best quarterback coming into the playoffs in the AFC. Because you guys correct me if I'm wrong. This year, just this year alone, I'm not saying you wouldn't want to have Mahomes over any of these guys in the postseason, but Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, all better quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
And then if you went over to the NFC bracket, Jared Goff, you would rather have him.
Yeah, with the weapons he had around him.
You're talking over Mahomes still.
No, not Mahomes. Just over Hurts. Yeah, just NFC over Hurts. Jared Goff.
Over Hurts, yes.
You would rather have Matt Stafford.
Yep.
You would rather have Jordan Love.
Yep, if they're healthy. Yeah. All of these.
You're getting way closer when we get to Jordan Love there. But
Baker Mayfield.
This year,
I mean, the numbers
fool's gold.
But weren't even close. And then Sam Darnold, the year he had. I'm just saying. And then Jaden Daniels, obviously much better. But you would have probably put Hurts out of 6 or 7 of the NFC quarterbacks. And I mean, to his credit, I mean, that was the one storyline for the last couple of weeks that continued to go against Philadelphia is Jalen Hurts is not a very good quarterback. Still, people believe that. And I think that gets overplayed, obviously. Now he's a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what made this game so special, Lance, is the fact that Kansas City had a plan for Saquon Barkley. And if the Eagles were going to win the game, they were going to have to do it with Jalen Hurts, doing other things other than handing it or tossing it to Saquon Barkley. And And he did it.
And he timed his scrambles very well. It felt like the scrambles were never panic scrambles. They were there when it needed to be. And some of the throws he made, like that first throw that got wiped because of the offensive interference, which is a bad call, that was a great throw. Yeah. And then the throw to Devontae Smith was an absolute dime. I mean, he just dropped that thing out of the chimney to Smith.
Yep.
I mean, that is just...
Well, the A.J. Brown touchdown, it comes from protection, but A.J. Brown comes all the way across the window.
Got to let it develop.
But if you don't throw that on time right where you throw it, he can't catch it and get to the end zone the way he did.
He can't turn the corner,
Yeah, so, I mean, he was spot on with his throws, and he's a Super Bowl champion. Iconic video here from Albert Breer, I think, is who sent this video out. I want to see the still photo, the flip side of this, because, Jordan got his trophy and went to the shower. Remember that shower picture with the trophy? Here's Jalen Hurts in the hallway with the Lombardi trophy sitting down there, and he ends up smoking a cigar, sitting in the hallway with the Lombardi trophy. And at some point, that will be an iconic photo. And you got somebody taking the photo.
There's a photographer right in his face. So, you'll get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the photo I want to see. I want to see the flip side. Good video there, but...
Can you imagine if Nick Foles in Philadelphia didn't pull off the win against the Patriots? Because this would be the Eagles' first and only Super Bowl win.
That's crazy.
And it would be a lot different because you know how passionate that fan base is.
Oh, no. Jalen Hurts, he'll be beloved in Philadelphia, but to your point, if this were their first one.
But he's still already jumped up. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Donovan McNabb did great things. I mean, 4 consecutive years, NFC Championship, went to a Super Bowl, lost. Ron Jaworski got him to a Super Bowl in 1980, Super Bowl 15. Foles won a Super Bowl after Carson Wentz goes down. But, I mean, the most beloved quarterback in Eagles history after yesterday might be Jalen Hurts.
He owns that town.
How can you not love his story? I mean, that is a blue-collar story.
And Jalen has always handled himself so well. I mean, there's never – in that whole situation where he could have, because – he stayed at Alabama because we were pre-transfer portal, right? I mean, in the transfer,
he had to get his degree.
Yeah, in the transfer portal world, he probably is gone as soon as that national championship game's over. He knew he was not the starter anymore. Yeah. But he was kind of stuck at Alabama by the rules then. Could have made it a far worse situation than it was, but he never did. He was never anything but gracious and handled that so well and waited his time until Alabama had to have him to keep a national championship hopes alive.
I meant to bring this up last week or the week before on the air because somebody asked me on another interview, man, this Jalen Hurts, I know you guys were around him in Tuscaloosa, but it's so hokey, some of the things he says. Is he genuine?
No, he is.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I mean, all I ever heard was great teammate, genuine guy. Like, I've never heard any negative stuff about him.
You cannot find people in Tuscaloosa that were there then that will say anything bad about Jalen Hurts, even privately.
Yeah, you remember when he went to Oklahoma, people were cheering him.
Yeah, and he has still come back to Tuscaloosa since then as a testament to, and you never hear Nick Saban say anything bad about, I mean, it's just, he is a class individual that has handled himself well and has earned and deserves every bit of success he's getting.
Okay, well, this is going to be something moving forward now that guys like Dylan Gabriel play at 3 different schools. Jalen Hurts, I mean, who ultimately owns this guy, Oklahoma or Alabama? Because we're going to have this moving forward, though.
I don't think you have to worry about it. I would say I'm okay with Oklahoma fans if they're doing sports talk in Oklahoma City today. That's a Sooner quarterback. I guess
is it like a shared national championship?
It is, yeah. I
guess by rule, he's an Alabama alum, but he was drafted an Oklahoma quarterback. When you go into the NFL draft, the stat I read you, Oklahoma's beside his name because that was the school.
That's the way the NFL works.
The NFL recognizes him as an Oklahoma quarterback.
Yeah, and again, like not to overplay this, but if he never leaves Tuscaloosa, he doesn't get drafted.
No,
but like Bo Nix is by NFL standards an Oregon quarterback.
Right.
But everybody knows Bo's heart, where he went to school, and if he wins a Super Bowl for the Broncos, Auburn fans should rejoice with Bo Nix, and Oregon fans should too. He played 2 years at Oregon.
I never consider Bo an Auburn guy now.
Oh, see, just
not at all.
No, he's
just because I thought he was a below average quarterback when he left Auburn.
I think he had below average people.
Maybe. I mean, look, obviously, you see what the guy's doing now, but without those moves, and this is another thing, and Brown, you brought it up in some realm, over the last couple of weeks without the transfer portal.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't see these stories. Like Bo Nix is probably he might be coaching high school football right now.
Yeah, it was your NFC Championship game. It was Jaden Daniels versus Jalen Hurts, and you could make an argument that game, neither one of those quarterbacks is in that game without the transfer portal.
Because Jaden wasn't that at Arizona State after
was
his
not.
freshman year.
And I don't know what he was going to become at Arizona State. And as we've said many times already today, I'm pretty sure what Jalen Hurts was going to be if he never could have transferred out of Alabama. Without the portal, your NFC Championship game might not even have been Philadelphia and Washington. And that was my point in bringing it up is, as much as the portal gets banged on, it does have some positives for these players. Not everybody is just out there using it, selfishly or whatever. Jaden Daniels needed out, and Jalen Hurts was not going to be a starter. And that is the other hindsight on all this, is you hear a lot of, and this was being mentioned, I think Pritch Law said it in the chat room, about how I love Jalen, but some of the revisionist history about how poorly he was treated at Alabama, guys, that was not even close.
Where was he mistreated?
No, just that they benched Jalen Hurts. It was not close. Tua was so much better as a college quarterback.
They actually stayed with him when they should have benched him.
Saban was too long in Michigan.
Before the Iron Bowl.
Yeah. Saban stuck with him too long.
Semifinal game, the first half, they dug the hole against Georgia when Tua had passed him. Not that he's not a great quarterback.
How often is this going to get brought up with the tampering now? Like if you see a quarterback, hey, man, if it wasn't for these guys transferring out, they're not who they are now. And Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels.
We never throw Joe Burrow in there, but Joe Burrow.
Yeah. I mean, all these guys that are having all this success, you need a change of scenery. I mean, that's got to be a pitch.
Yeah. Dennis Dodd, just 12 minutes ago on Twitter, I got the vibe Jalen Hurts has been using as fuel that halftime against Georgia when he was replaced by Tua until last night. And now finally he's able to put that to bed. What you forget about Jalen, at least some people do, I do not, is that in his freshman year, the way he played, led Alabama with a great defense to the national championship game in Tampa. And I think with 2:12 left, maybe less than 2 minutes left, scored the go-ahead touchdown on a long run into the end zone to put Alabama up on Clemson for the national championship and handed it back to one of Alabama's best defenses of all time.
Who had been on the field the whole second half because Jalen Hurts couldn't get a first down in the second half. By the way, but okay, go ahead.
Bo Scarborough got hurt.
Yeah.
So he hands it back to them with 2 and change or 1:58 left in the game. And Clemson's got to drive the field. Here you go, one of the greatest defenses of all time. Or he would have been national championship quarterback in 2016.
Well, I mean, he'd already be better than Eli Manning if his defense didn't blow it 2 years ago.
The same exact thing, because he put them in the lead to win the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yeah, and so it wasn't on him.
Yeah, it wasn't on him. You hand it back, and then Mahomes does Mahomes thing. So that guy's his trophy case is two championship trophies.
I don't even think
because of defense.
This is going to be the storyline, but something I was thinking about, and this is crazy because I don't think I've ever seen this, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but with really two retread quarterbacks, Will Howard and Jalen Hurts, two coaches that in September we didn't know if they would have jobs in December, and Ryan Day and Nick Sirianni both not only weathered the storm, but big FUs to everybody, and they carry home the championships in the same year. Have we ever seen two embattled coaches in the same year win a national championship and a Lombardi?
No way. I mean, Sirianni's yelling at his own fans, and they want him in the bye week after the 2-2 start. That's the debate. Is he going to get fired? And now 16-1 later, he's the Super Bowl champion. And Ryan Day, if there wasn't for a 12-team play, it was the first year of it, the 12-team. If it was a 14 playoff, he would have been fired after the Michigan loss.
Now I will warn Sirianni. Doug Peterson got 3 more years after that.
That's right.
So you better keep it good. And Peterson went to the playoffs, by the way, 2 of those 3 years.
Well, if I'd have gone back a couple of years ago, okay, here's the deal. Sirianni, Ryan Day with Will Howard and Jalen Hurts are going to win Super Bowls
you'd have laughed at
and
that
national
one.
championships. Yeah, I mean, what were the odds?
It would
astronomical.
It would break the odds bank.
We don't make those odds, sir.
One more thing here in the opening segment, after we tell you about a couple of great folks. I ate my body weight in New York Butcher smoked butt. It was so delicious yesterday. Maggie picked it up for us on Saturday morning, and the first thing she actually called me on my drive down to Auburn and said, "That Jim at New York Butcher Shop is the nicest guy in the world." And I said, yes. She may have said it's the nicest Jim in her life.
is Jim at New York Butcher
Oh,
Shop.
I
He
don't
is a
think
nice
there's any
guy.
doubt.
It's
Yeah.
not even close.
Yeah, so I was in there. Me and Maddie went by on Friday. Yeah, I picked up 5 fillets. And I picked up things for this week. I got some tomato bisque for this week.
Ooh.
I got some chicken and dumplings for this week. I mean, that's the great pre-meals that you can pick up, but the steaks were absolutely fantastic on Friday. And speaking of steaks, Valentine's Day special, 2 certified Angus beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, yeast rolls. You can get the choice for $59.99, the prime for $74.99. Available for pickup this Wednesday through Friday. Valentine's coming up this weekend. You need to get it done at the New York Butcher Shop. One-stop dinner shop from the fresh meats all the way to the delicious wines. One-stop shop, rare quality, well-done service, 2 locations. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you.
Speaking of well done, that's what the fine folks at Urology Centers of Alabama do. They take care of you. They're the best that I have seen out there at Urology Centers of Alabama on helping you stay on top of your prostate health. So important, guys. And some of you have aged out of your 20s that watch or listen to our show. And if you haven't yet and you're heading that direction, you need to make sure you stay in touch. And so many things inside is so much easier with early detection, like your prostate health. Urology Centers of Alabama can help you with 16 locations, and you can find one near you, urologycentersalabama.com. Prostate health, kidney stones, everything in between, vasectomies, whatever you need, Urology Centers of Alabama has that. 205-930-0920 to schedule an appointment, or urologycentersalabama.com there. We've had rematches before in Super Bowls, but yesterday was a first. That was the 4th rematch between quarterback versus quarterback battle in Super Bowl history, same 2 quarterbacks, and the 5th head coach versus head coach revenge type game in Super Bowl history. It's the first time that the team that lost the first meeting came back and won the second meeting.
So revenge generally does not happen, huh?
Yeah. It's the first time. So you've had quarterbacks meet again.
Yeah.
But, I guess Jim Kelly and Troy Aikman would be an example. Jim Kelly couldn't get over the hump with Troy Aikman in that situation. I'm trying to think of other ones.
Bradshaw and Staubach, right?
Bradshaw and Staubach. I don't think Staubach ever beat Bradshaw, because I think those Steelers teams were 4-0 there. So in 5 head coaches, they never were able to get that revenge there. So yesterday was unique on many, many levels, including the Eagles.
I know you were pulling for the Eagles yesterday. Were you
100%.
pulling for the Eagles?
Maggie asked me before. She was like, are you pulling for the Eagles? Because I know how you cheer against history. And I said, I'm really not cheering for either team. And she's like, Maggie, who's not a huge sports fan, said, "You mean to tell me Jimmy Alabama's not cheering for Jalen Hurts?" And I said, it would be great if he wins. I really don't have a rooting interest in this game.
Well, see,
it's hard for me to watch a game and not have some sort of a
Me too.
rooting interest.
I instantly
really
started cheering for.
Yeah.
I said, "This is crazy." It would become fun to watch it. The Chiefs get dismantled that way.
See, I'm just the opposite of Lance. I can just sit there and watch a game, and as long as it's an entertaining game,
Yeah.
Having to make a choice, I would have picked the Eagles, but I sure didn't want it to be 31-0 at one point or whatever it ended up being.
Oh, I was flexing my SEC flag.
Oh, I bet
'Cause
you were.
I was
That
watching,
Georgia defense was good.
I was watching that Georgia defensive line with Sweat on the edge, who's Mississippi State, right? Yeah, Sweat on the edge. Those SEC defensive linemen just eating up Kansas City. I was like, that's the way it is every Saturday in the SEC. Yeah. All right.
Is Xavier Worthy? Is he an SEC receiver?
He is now. He is now. No matter which side Jalen Hurts is, it's SEC quarterback now, Oklahoma or Alabama. All right, speaking of the SEC, crazy weekend in basketball. Auburn goes down at home. AP poll out today. Who you think should be number 1 leading into the big showdown coming up Saturday between Auburn and Alabama. But there's work to be done. Both teams on the road tomorrow night. We'll talk basketball when we come back right here on the Next Round. Being brought to you always by our wonderful friends at Bud Light, Adams Beverage. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy a nice ice-cold Bud Light as you enjoy the countdown to March Madness and Selection Sunday. The Next Round comes back after this.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service. The New York Butcher Shop.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com. It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Back with you on the Next Round. Before Brownie tells us about our friends at ImageCraft, I try to be, as LT calls it, Jimmy Current, and I listen to a lot of popular music. On Hits 2 on Sirius XM is probably
your vibe?
It's probably my most listened to station.
Okay.
So I probably have 3 or 4 Kendrick Lamar songs on different playlists that I listen to at different times. And I did not recognize them as I watched that show yesterday. I assume he played 3 or 4 of his hits. I did not. I have never. Listen. I feel old sometimes. I have never felt as old as I did during halftime of that show yesterday.
Well, I think, we have got to accept the fact that the NFL knows we're watching the game. Yep. They're not going to choose halftime entertainment that
but I'll say
right
this.
in our wheelhouse. They're going to choose halftime entertainment to draw in the people that they know aren't watching the game.
So Jack and Jace were both over watching, and they're both Kendrick Lamar fans.
Okay.
18 and 17. They did not enjoy it.
They didn't like it?
No. I mean, and I've said this. Look, you guys know, my favorite genre growing up was rap, was hip hop. Yeah. And the handful of shows I've been to, they're all awful. And
so live rap is bad.
Like you go see certain bands are great live, certain bands are not even close to what you get with the finished like studio recording, and rap's just a genre that is not good live.
It's hard to replicate what they do in studio to a live performance, right?
Just watch Original Kings of Comedy. Steve Harvey says it, does it best, talking about a rap show.
Yeah. I just, because I told him.
I paid $39.95. I don't want to wave my hands in the air. You wave your hands in the air.
Oh, did you see Kid Rock? I don't know.
Oh, it was in Nashville.
It was in Nashville. Yeah. It was Bon Jovi has a bar in Nashville. Who doesn't have a bar in Nashville?
Everybody's got one.
Okay, so Kid Rock was on stage, and they were singing Proud Mary, and people weren't clapping along, and he got mad and walked out.
Well, maybe it's because you were singing Proud Mary.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
that's a good song.
That may be the oldest song of all time.
Really?
All right, tell us about ImageCraft.
Hey, so ImageCraft, print more, spend less. If you're a local business like car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, banks, you guys print a lot. You need a partner like ImageCraft to help you. They are your go-to for ink and toner. If you're running that office, you know how quickly you go through all of that, right? Well, why not use a company here in Birmingham that's got free same-day delivery on all in-stock items in the Birmingham Metro, and they also ship free outside the area. You could come in their store on Gadsden Highway in Trussville, or you could shop online as well with our friends at ImageCraft. In fact, they want to help you out too. You mentioned you heard it here on the next round. Just say TNR or the next round. They know us. 10% off. Shop online with this code TNR10 and get 10% off. And they stand by their prices too. Find it for a lower price. They beat any locally advertised price. Shop local, support local business, and help your business as well with ImageCraft. ImageCraft, print more, spend less.
All right. So number one, Auburn loses to Florida. Number two, Duke loses to Clemson. Alabama, number 3, wins on the road at Arkansas. Nate Oates, after that win, gets asked about who should be number 1 in the AP poll. And he basically gets asked, make a pitch for Alabama to be number 1. Here's Nate Oates.
Auburn and Duke lost earlier today. Do you have a pitch for why you would be the number 1 team in the poll on Sunday?
I mean, I don't really care, to be honest with you, so probably not going to make a pitch. I did see Auburn lost before we played because I try to watch SEC games when we got a late game. Florida came in ready to play. So now we're tied, and we got to just take care of business. We're in full control of our own destiny to win the SEC right now. Wherever the voters want to put us, it doesn't matter. I mean, we'll be 1, 2, or 3. That's for sure, and I don't really care. Let's focus on Texas. Let's try to win an SEC regular season championship and let all that other stuff fall where it may.
Yeah, see, that means more than the AP ranking. I said afterwards with a little T on our show that Auburn should stay number 1 because they've lost LT to number 2 in Ken Palm on the road and number 5 in Ken Palm, and that is it. You guys make a pitch for Alabama to be number 1.
Well, I mean, I think it's an easy pitch for Auburn or Alabama to be number 1 right here. I agree with Nate. It doesn't really matter.
It does not.
The only thing that could somewhat be exciting about this is if you have in-state 1 versus 2, whether it's Alabama 1 or Auburn 1 versus Alabama or Auburn at number 2.
That's what I want. Just move Duke to 3. Let's.
I think that's what you'll get.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's what you're going to get. I think it's going to be split. Like Auburn obviously had all 62 votes last week. You're not going to see that. I mean, I think even Duke in a loss might have a vote sprinkled here or there.
I think you'll have a decent spread. I think Bama will get some, Auburn will get some, Duke will get some. I don't know if any will filter down to Tennessee or Florida, but I wouldn't have a problem with it.
But if you're asking me, gun to head, I think it probably is Auburn, Bama, Duke.
I do too. That's the way I would do it. Brownie?
I would do it this way. I would do it Auburn, Bama, Auburn, Bama, Duke. I just think a lot of voters vote with the if you're number one and lose, you got to drop mentality. So I think that's going to benefit Alabama. It's just a guess. That's not the way I would vote, but it is a guess. When it comes out, it's going to be narrow Alabama number 1, Auburn number 2, Duke number 3. I think that's the way the poll's going to come out. But I don't know that. It's just a guess by me because I'm just going on voter tendencies that as a voter, you're almost wired to think if a team loses, they have to drop, especially if they're number 1.
Yeah, and
and if I do that to number 1, I got to do that to number 2. Well, number 3 didn't lose, so now they're my number 1.
Well, I mean, what did you guys think? Like, Auburn was down 21. They're up 10 in the first half. Florida ends up going up 10 at halftime.
23-7 run to the locker room.
Yeah, but Florida gets up 21. I mean, they were dominating that game. I mean, Condon and Clayton were awesome on Saturday. Alabama, I didn't think looked good, but they're still in a pretty raucous environment.
Up 20.
Yeah, up 20. They shoot 55%. They've now won 6 straight games, but I didn't think they looked great. And then, Cooper Flagg didn't really show up until the final 5 minutes of that game, and I thought Duke was okay.
Yeah, and Flagg was playing hurt, and then he had that slip on the travel that was pretty much ended the game there when he hit the slick spot on the floor. I say he was hurt. He had cramps.
Literally the best team I thought I saw all weekend was Florida. But,
But that's going to change week to week. I mean, just 1 week ago, they lost by 20 in Knoxville. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
without Zakai Ziegler.
Yeah. Tennessee didn't have their best player or one of their best players. I'm curious, Jim, you were in the building. Lance mentioned it. It felt on TV, and maybe I'm just imagining this on TV, but it felt on TV like Auburn jumped out quick like they always did, and it was almost like they were like, well, here we go again. We're at Neville Arena. We've jumped out quick. We've already got our foot on the throat of this team.
Here's what happened.
Florida did not participate in that.
Yeah. They jumped out, I think, to a 10-point lead.
I mean, it was quick.
And then I promise you, it's got the interlocking A and the U in the middle. Walter Clayton hit a 3, I think, from where the U is bending.
Okay.
It's bending at the bottom. I think his foot was where it was bending. Like if there was a 4-point line, it was behind it. And he drained it. The net didn't move. And he had a couple of those in the first half where the net didn't move from way behind, not on the 3-point line, way behind the 3-point line. And they got back into it, and I said a 23-7 run. And it didn't even sound like Auburn Arena the other times at Neville Arena when I've been there. And once Florida came back and tied it up in the first half and then took the lead, and I always get in trouble because I don't use the right words. Auburn plays with a lot of mustard, a lot of swagger, a lot of showmanship, especially in that building, talking to the jungle, their great student body. You weren't getting any of that. You weren't getting a lot of that from Janai. You weren't getting a lot of that from Chad Baker-Mazara. They just didn't look – they looked tired. They looked like they didn't have the same energy as Florida did in their own building. And Bruce, if you give me cut one, Bruce said this afterwards. Cut one, Tyler, after the game. He sort of said, I sort of sensed it going into the game all week long.
Well, that's why I was going to bring this up. You remember the clip last week where Bruce was like, we're going to lose a game. You know what? We're actually going to lose maybe games. He brought that up. It was almost prophetic in what he was talking about. And if he's going to lose to somebody, I mean, his former point guard, he talked about it over in Israel, his former assistant, Todd Golden. I think it is a guy that he really respects and likes, and he's pulling for the success of Todd Golden. But you're right. It's almost like he knew this was coming.
Yeah, and Bruce saw it in practice, and he agrees with me. They didn't have the same zip in their step. Here's Bruce.
Yeah, I kind of sensed this was about to happen at any point. We have had greater effort and energy, or at least matched the effort and energy. Every team we played, I knew that we were due for we were due for a letdown. Again, give Florida the credit. I think understand. If I were to redo a few things, I don't know that I had our team understand how important this game was to Florida, in the sense that Florida could be a Final Four team. If they lose this game, they're 4 games behind us in the league. All right. Now they're only 2, and they're still in it. I mean, they just came in here like they had to win it. That's how they played every possession. They played harder. They played better. They played more desperately. We did not look like the number 1 team in the country. We didn't act like the number 1 team in the country. We didn't prepare like it. And as a result, we got beat.
I was shocked that was Florida's first win ever against a number 1 ranked team. Wasn't that stunning?
On the road.
On the road. Excuse me. Yeah. I should have included that.
But yeah,
on the road.
They're only the 5th team ever to beat a number one team at home and a number one team on the road in the same season.
Yeah, well, that's pretty remarkable, obviously. Yeah, but I could not believe they had never done that in their career. I mean, Florida's had a pretty good basketball program over the years.
Yeah, I mean, two-time national champions back-to-back.
And Lon Kruger took them to another Final Four before Donovan was there.
Yeah, that's one of those teams right now, if they won the national championship, would not surprise me.
Not a bit.
Yeah,
not a bit.
Either. Because their bigs are so athletic.
Oh, yeah. They can shoot it. They can distribute it.
They're really good moving side to side defensively. And they really made Janai Broome uncomfortable in that game. Back to Alabama's win after we tell you about our friends at Hemphill. They bring you Lance's Lock, a couple of big games tonight, including North Carolina, Clemson, Baylor, and Houston. Houston all of a sudden getting some love of being maybe the best team in the country. Lance will have plays there. Hemphill brings you the lock.
Yeah, nice winning Super Bowl yesterday. We had the side, and that's just something we don't get all the time. We did have the Eagles. We were really good on the props yesterday. I was telling you guys that we cashed 3 props on one play, which I've never seen before. But that was pretty awesome. For more winners, I think we've got, I'm counting in my head, 7 tonight. We've got 2 in college, 5 in the NBA, up and available right now at lanceslog.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Any arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
I am sorry to have to report this at this point in the show, but the weather in Birmingham is going to suck this week.
It is.
So you need to get in the golfus because being out on the golf course is going to be near impossible this week. It is always dry in the golfus, always 70 degrees. There's never any wind. You don't get rained out or delayed by weather. You only enjoy Birmingham's best golf simulators. All the courses that you see on TV, just about, all the courses you've always wanted to play, you can play them right there on a simulation. They're at the golfus. It's a great idea for parties. You can have the games on the TVs while you're playing golf on the simulators. Bring your own food, bring your own drink, bring your own clubs. Great idea for an office meeting. I mean, boring office meeting in some conference room somewhere. It is boring. Get out of the office, go to the golfus, and spice up that meeting a little bit and help your employees know that you appreciate them. You could book a bay. You can get more information on everything I'm talking about. Find their locations, Highway 31 in Vestavia, Van Road just off Highway 11 in Trussville, coming soon to 280, thegolfus.com, thegolfus.com.
Alabama now tied with Auburn for first place in the SEC race, both 9-1. It's the third time Nate Oates has had Alabama 9-1 through 10 games in the SEC race. The last time Alabama was 9-1 with a coach not named Nate Oates was a guy named Wimp Sanderson in 1987.
Wow. That was a really good team.
That was a good team, yeah.
It was a really
Sweet
good
16 team, right?
Really good team. So 9-1 is not easy. That is Alabama celebrating in the locker room. The hard hat winner was Mark Sears, that blue-collar basketball there. Sears had 11, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal, and played really good defense on the edge. But how important...
6 turnovers, though.
He had 6 of the 11 turnovers.
I think it's just who Alabama is. I think they're just going to have to win in spite of that.
9 in the first half, only 2 in the second half.
So, 11. I mean, that's better, but still.
He gets in the air and then throws it away. You know what I mean? He gets in the air. And then
I just think their style of play is going to lead to some turnovers. I mean, they're never going to have one like Ole Miss did the other night against Kentucky.
Yeah, we brought it up last week, because Nate was talking about it. And look, this is just when you're 22 games into a season, this is just kind of who you are.
Two things I want to point before we get to Ron Slay to talk more basketball. One is the style of play. They hit a low 5 3-pointers. They only shot 20 3-pointers. But they scored 56 points at the paint. This team is more of an at the rim team than a 3-point shooting team, and we just have to accept that. They're not shooting the threes not as well as last year's team, but not even at the rate of last year's team. They are at the rim team.
Yeah, I mean they're which again that's part of Nate Oates' system. At the rim, beyond the arc, and free throws. Those are your highest percentage shots. Those are the shots we want to take. It's what Nate Oates always says, and they're getting more of the at the rim play now, which is not a surprise with the additions they made and keeping Mo Diabate.
Yeah, Diabate, man. I don't know if it's better that he gets limited minutes because maybe he is so exertive in those minutes.
He makes the most of them, doesn't he?
I mean, because you know what? He played 15 minutes this Saturday and had 14 points. I mean. It's his production in his limited time is pretty crazy.
And the other point I want to make out is how important has Chris Youngblood become to this team after he missed the first part of the year with that injury, the transfer in. I mean, he is the guy that seems to be taking a lot of big shots.
Yeah, and a game high 15 or a Alabama high 15 along with Grant Nelson. But, just getting more and more comfortable in rotation and making big shots and making his free throws.
I think it's the type of win a coach wants because you played well enough to be up 20 on Arkansas, who, keep in mind now.
I thought it was 22, Brown.
Okay, 22, whatever it was.
I thought it was 20 as well.
Oh.
Every note I said, and Little T said in the postgame, it was 18. But I swear
I thought
at one point
they saw they hit 20. But
half.
okay, so you're up 18, whatever it is.
No, but I had it written in my notes like 20. I didn't want to cry.
I thought they hit. You know what it was? I think they hit 20. Was that when they went back in the dead ball and wiped the goaltend?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because it was 20 on the scoreboard and they took 2 away.
That's right. That's why it was 18. Yeah, it got reversed in the timeout. I forgot about that.
I've been sitting here. You've just solved the puzzle. It's been bothering me since Saturday night.
So, they wiped that in the dead ball. I'd forgotten that part of it. So, anyway, the scoreboard did at one point hit 20. But either way, you're up 18, so you're good enough to be up 18 on the road at Arkansas. A team everybody was like, "Ooh, boy, you got to go play Arkansas right now. Don't want to play them right now."
Hey, and how juiced was that
building?
building?
The place was juiced, and you handled all of that well.
Yeah, and when they started to cut it a little bit, I thought Arkansas was going to find a way to win that game.
And that's why it's the win a coach wants, because you could still get your team's attention.
Yeah.
It can be the old, this is not the way we finish type deal. So almost the perfect game for Nate Oates. Your team played as well as you want them to play, but they also left enough room for you to coach them going into Texas. Like, you cannot lift on the road in the SEC. You just can't do it.
I don't know if you had that game, but, boy, it came down to free throws at the end.
As far as the number wins, you mean? Yeah.
Yep.
I did.
Because I had Arkansas plus 4.5.
Yeah. I had Arkansas. But, I do that. I had Arkansas money line. I do that just in case.
Again, sprays the board. Doesn't touch Super Bowl.
Not Super Bowl. Not biggest betting day of the year. Nope.
Tell us about A+, Brownie, and then we'll bring in Ron Slay to talk more about this Alabama-Auburn dynamic going into their big showdown after 2 road games coming up on Saturday. Game day will be there.
A+bathandkitchen.com. That is the website you go to. It is my man Brad Bell. When it came time to redo the master bath in the Brown house, my wife scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. Brad Bell was the guy she picked. I'm glad she did. His crews did tremendous work at our house. They were on time every day, which is saying something. They worked great. They were clean. At the end of each day, they brought us in and showed us everything they had done and made sure it met our specifications, and boy, did it. If you're looking to update your master bath, your kitchen, or your master bedroom closets, that's what Brad specializes in. Not to say it's the only thing he does, but it is what he specializes in: master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's where you're going to get your money back when you sell your house. It's what you're going to enjoy while you own your house. So call Brad now. Here's his number: 205-422-1758, 205-422-1758, or aplusbathandkitchen.com. That is aplusbathandkitchen.com. We get a sleigh ride next. Ron Slay on the next round.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rowback. Go to rowback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hey, we get into hour number 2. We'll talk to Ron Slay coming up in a moment. I want to tell you about our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City, ready to get you in to a new year with a new roof. But maybe you don't need a new roof. How do you know? Well, you need somebody to get on the roof and check it out for you, right? And that's what Greg will do for you. He'll do it absolutely free for you. A free, no-cost roof evaluation with no obligation. And here's something else Greg wants to do for free for you. He wants to help you understand some changing dynamics in the insurance industry when it comes to covering or replacing your roof. If you got an older roof, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you probably need to know this new information about your insurance policy. Greg from Pell City will help you out. 205-542-3531 for that free no-cost roof inspection. 205-542-3531. Or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. Storm Restoration Roofing, locally owned for over 20 years, 8+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Go check him out, Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing.
We will ask Ron Slay the same question you ask us about the Associated Press poll. The Tennessee Great SEC Network analyst joins us now. Or if you need to finish the text, go ahead. Don't let us interrupt.
Oh, no, I'm good money, man. I've been on a whirlwind, dude. I did Radio Row last week. Went straight from New Orleans to Charlotte to do studio work. Then got back today, had a couple of interviews, and I just got a call. My son's going to 9th grade next year. So we had apparently a 10 o'clock meeting with the high school.
Oh, and you didn't make it?
I missed. Oh. Father of the year, baby. Father of the year, man. That's what I'm going for.
So who was the phone call? Was it your wife?
No, this was actually the school.
Oh. Yeah. So you still have to deal with the wife conversation.
Yeah, see, that's good. She's resting. The daddy handled all that.
Okay. Hey, so before we get into hoops, how was the Boom Boom Room for Super Bowl 59? Did you hit all your bets? What was the food and drink layout? How did it go?
Hey, man, listen, I'm telling you now, I went to a spot down there. First of all, that's my first opportunity to go to New Orleans as a non-player and get to venture out into the city. New Orleans is something else, man. It's everything as advertised. The life, the nightlife, It's something different. If you've never experienced it, I would say go experience it and get out of there quickly. The restaurant, the food that I had was phenomenal. I have a favorite restaurant now, man. That's in New Orleans. That is the Commander's Palace. Lord,
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
oh, the best. And listen, I'm not even a big seafood guy. I did taste tried the gumbo as an appetizer. Was phenomenal. Had a little shrimp. But the steak I had was the best steak I've ever had in my entire life, man. Wow. Then the presentation of the Bananas Foster.
Ooh.
They make a hell of an old fashioned. It was
You sold me.
Hey, and you see the results on your tab too, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And I also saw the results in my bets. I must have made them after the fourth old fashioned. Didn't pan out the way I needed it to.
Did you have KC yesterday?
Say it again. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Man, listen, I'm all for never picking against Mahomes, man. But I think you got a little fan dust in my eyes when I was making the bet, not really realizing how good Philadelphia was coming off the edge and that pressure they can put on the quarterback, and not understanding how much Mahomes masked of his offensive line.
Yep.
So I got food in that one.
Yeah, their 2 Super Bowl losses I don't put them on Mahomes. I put it on their offensive line against the Bucs, and yesterday against the Eagles, they couldn't protect him at all. In basketball terms, I was at the game on Saturday when Florida comes in and they beat Auburn. Shame on me. I had Florida as a team that could win the national championship until I saw them lose by 20 in Knoxville when Tennessee didn't have Ziegler. And I was like, how in the world can they lose by 20 to Tennessee when Tennessee didn't have Ziegler? So I backed off of them a little bit, but then they proved themselves. What did you see in that Florida-Auburn game?
First off, let's address what we see throughout the SEC. This is, if it was a character that you had to play in the SEC, that had to play the SEC, it would definitely be the Joker, because it's not ever what it seems to be. You see a smile, but believe me, it's some conniving going on behind it. There's a lot of things that's being masked with the Joker's mask. You can't take a game that's happening, especially on the road, and think that, man, this is who my team is. I don't think this is anything. I just look at it as a slap of the wrist to Auburn. But I think it goes back to what you believed you saw at the beginning of the year when the SEC season started. You look at Alabama, you look at Auburn, you look at Florida, you look at Tennessee. All of them can go to the Final Four. All of them can compete to win the national championship. Don't get it misconstrued by what happens in the conference because of the conference being this deep. Now, Walter Clayton Jr. is a problem. Walking into it, I thought he was one of the guys that could challenge for SEC Player of the Year, and he reassured that case going into Auburn and playing the way he did. I thought also their strength is the depth of the interior. When you start to talk about Florida, they got 4 guys that they can throw at you: Alexis, Chinaloo, Condon, and Houck. They can all throw guys at you that can play fearless. When you can play that style of basketball against a guy like Janai Broome, who you have to make work, you got to keep them in action. You got to make them be able to turn and box out. That's a little different. You don't have to look over your shoulder and worry about, man, if I get in foul trouble, is somebody else coming in? Regardless if you get in foul trouble for Florida, it's somebody else coming in because they're that deep. For them to go and do it without Elijah Martin, I think is huge. But it just also shows what that conductor is and what he means to these programs. If you see a Zakai Ziegler out, if you see a Tahad Pettiford sit out, if a Mark Sears sit out, if you see a guy like Lamont Butler sit out, it changes the dynamic of these teams drastically. The point guard play is serious in this league. You can get by a game or two without having that forceful wing or that low post guy. But the way this league is set up, without a point guard, you are in trouble. With the point guard, you can go beat anybody.
Ron Slay, SEC Network, with us. I think it was Todd Golden postgame. Maybe it was one of the Florida players say, we were just going to stay on Broome's right shoulder that whole game. Stay on his right shoulder that whole game. So for dummies like me in our audience, as a big guy, tell me why that worked to a certain extent and what it does to Broom.
Now, this is Broom is phenomenal and super efficient, whether going to right hand or left hand. But if you stay on that right shoulder, he pounds you and pounds you under the basket with his left shoulder to turn back over his right shoulder and shoot with his left hand. That's his comfort zone. What they were able to pick up on and say they were going to live with, regardless of if he made it or missed it, we're not letting him turn back over that right shoulder and get to his comfort zone and shoot with his left. Yes, if he gets all the way up under the rim and he shoots with his right hand, cool, we'll live with it. But what you wanted to continue to do is put contact on his body. They kept the body on him. We call it walling in the post. When you play defense and your arms are vertical and it's almost like dummy defense, but you have to score over a person. You don't create the angles for Johni Broome, who is phenomenal at creating angles for himself. That right there is when Auburn needs a basket and he's a mismatch and there's no double team coming, what he would do every single time is back you all the way under the basket as far as he needs to, go back over right shoulder. That stops the bleeding to any run. He wasn't able to do that. Now, granted, he missed a couple of his shots, and I don't think Johni Broome would do that, but that's all it takes for a team that's heating up and playing the way that Florida is. So, it was a perfect storm. It happens. Miles Kelly didn't shoot. Well, he did shoot well.
Yeah.
Denver Jones didn't really give him much. Chad Baker-Magazar didn't really give him much. So that's what makes Auburn so potent, that they get it from all different sources, but they all get it together and collectively. It's never one person running around with 40 points and everybody else having 6 or 2. It's always even, 24, 18, 16, 12, 14. That's the way they operate. Florida was able to capitalize on that.
So the 14-game win streak is over. If you had to give me right now your top 5 SEC power rankings, how would you go 1 through 5?
Still Auburn at 1. 2, I'm going Alabama. And I think it's crazy, man, that this is how strong the league is. You got a team like Alabama that returned everybody that's flying under the radar. Not only for the SEC Player of the Year, Mark Sears, but also SEC Coach of the Year, Nate Oates, flying under the radar. Final Four team that brought back their core. We don't talk about. It's wild. I don't talk about them either. I'm just pointing the finger at anybody. I don't either. But Alabama is 2. Tennessee is 3 for me. I think it was there was big losing Estrella. That was humongous. But some reason Dubar seems to be stepping up at the right time for them to kind of fill that void. They would be 3. Florida would be 4 for me, and then Missouri. Even though Missouri got beat, Missouri is tough. They bounced back. They got a plethora of guys that is hard to key in on one person. So Missouri would be 5 for me.
You said Florida somewhere though, right? 4 or somewhere in there?
Yeah, Florida. Florida's at 4. Yeah,
Okay.
Florida's at 4. No
Okay.
question. Now, I know that was a little long and drawn out.
Yeah,
but
no, I want to make my eyebrows. My eyebrows.
I'll do it quick. I see you ain't got your headband on. So
Come on, Dunaway.
Auburn, Alabama,
Okay.
Tennessee, Florida, Missouri.
All right. Okay. Because I was confused there when you went Tennessee. I blacked out a little bit ahead of Florida because wow.
Well, they beat them by 20 a week ago.
Yeah, but Florida beat them by 30.
Well, that was
Okay, now wait a minute.
Yeah.
Power rankings. We're going for power rankings. We going week of, correct? Or are we going throughout the whole SEC?
I would say in the moment.
Whatever, Slay. I'm with you, man. I'm with
Now
you.
wait, now what you got to see? Now wait a minute. 6 scholarship players were played in this game versus Florida, who had a fully loaded clip. So this is what I'm gonna tell you. We're going to school today. You don't get a lunch pail. You don't get any lunch money. You don't get anything. What are you going to do for lunch? When you see Florida walk in with a whole smorgasbord and they got catering going on, who's going to eat the best, if you would think?
Did y'all eat too much in Gainesville when you lost by 30 to them?
No, man. No, Florida punked them boys. That's all it was.
Was that in this calendar year?
Yeah.
So this is what you got to watch for. The return flights.
Okay.
Everybody is cool with going to the destination, but when it's time to come back home, that's the games you got to watch for. I'm going to tell you one you got to watch. Vanderbilt this week. It's going to be tough. Vanderbilt beat Kentucky,
Yeah.
beat Tennessee. Now guess what they got to do? Go on the road against 5 ranked opponents. You know what 2 of those opponents are? You got to go to Big Blue Nation and you got to go to Knoxville.
Yep.
So it's going to be difficult. That return flight is something else, man. That hangover, woo, it's cool while you're having the fun. But when you come back home and set your feet on the ground, it can get a little blurry.
Hey, Alabama, and we still expect Nate Oates to shoot threes.
Yeah.
But it is starting to become very evident this is a more at the rim team than last year's team. Why is that working for this team? They only shot 20 threes at Arkansas. They only hit 5 of them, but they score 56 paint points, and they seem to be so good at the rim. Why is it working for them at the rim so much?
Jim, you must be listening to SEC now, watching me break these games down. I see what you're doing right there.
I was on the road. I missed it. No, I'm a Slave fan. I consume everything you do.
No, man. I think that's one of the things, man. You get so caught up on exactly what you said. The blueprint for Alabama, especially when you look at their guard play, is to get out and contest threes. Aiden Holloway doing a great job. Young blood has come on. Mark Sears, for sure, you know that even the big fella, the 7-footer they put in, Sherelle, you got to get out there and defend the 3. So when you run back, you're conditioned when you're playing a Nate Oates team no longer to run to the rim and build out. Now with Nate Oates team, you run in transition to the 3-point line, find your man, and with the ball swinging, which is Alabama's doing a great job of the ball hopping, you get more times of breakdowns. And guys, LeBaron Philon being able to get out inside, Grant Nelson being able to use his pump fake. You got so many different guys, man, that are being able to get to the rim and not have anyone challenge them. It just be a one-on-one. So they're doing a great job of turning down shots and being able to get all the way to the rim because the help side isn't there. The help side is stuck with their man because the ball rotation was so good, and you ran back to defend your guy at the 3-point line. Now, all of a sudden, on the weak side where the ball was, you're not turning quick enough to get back to your normal defense because you're playing a Nate Oates team. You're worried about the 3. That one-on-one breakdown, there's no help there. Great job getting to the paint. It's almost, I hate to say it's simple because everybody would be doing, but they're paying attention more to their detail.
Alabama stayed on the road. They went to Austin last night to watch the Super Bowl. They'll play in Austin tomorrow night before coming back to Tuscaloosa for that big game against Auburn. I said earlier, Slay, it felt like Nate Oates, it's the perfect win for him. You're up 18 on the road against what everybody was saying was a hot team, but then you lift it a little bit and you let him back in the game. So he gets the win and he gets the coaching moment. That's a coach's dream right there.
Absolutely, and especially what you're about to walk into. You're going into a Texas team that, just like Arkansas, back is against the wall. Every game they play is for their NCAA berth. Understanding that, man, it's a possibility to get 13, and now listen to Joe Lunardi, 14 teams in. Okay, cool. But the teams your opponent, they're going to fight fearless. To quote Coach Cal, they're fearless and they're out there punching. That's what Texas will be able to do, the same thing, and it's the way to get you ready for that matchup versus Auburn on Saturday, which will be a blockbuster.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want from you before you leave, because we won't get a chance to talk to you before Saturday. I'll just have to steal your content off the SEC network. Auburn and Alabama in Tuscaloosa. They'll play at the end of the year. There is a good chance it'll be AP number 1 versus AP number 2, probably 1 and 6 in the Ken Palm. Game day is going to be there. How does that play? Why does Auburn win it? Why does Alabama win it?
Man, I'm going to tell you what. The only reason that I could jump out on a limb and say why one would win is because of home court. That's first and foremost when looking at this. I thought when the season started, man, you looked at the rosters and watching it play out. You looked at this game and circled it and said, man, whoever wins this game, it's a possibility that they could be in the lead for the SEC regular season championship. And it still holds true if that was your thinking. The coaching chess match that's going to happen in this matchup, whether Bruce Pearl decides to extend pressure, if they can make shots and get their defense set and have defensive balance. I thought that was one of the things that was glaring with Auburn against Florida. The defensive balance of some of these shots. Wasn't really nobody getting back. And Florida took an opportunity with the bigs running, the wings running, to be able to get out and run. So I think that's something that's going to get the box checked when you looked at them playing in Alabama. Alabama, they got to cut down on turnovers. If you want to win this game at home, knowing the way the crowd and the adrenaline is going to be pumping, you can't give Auburn any free buckets. You got to make them score with a man in front over and over and run their offense, and you be able to sit there and guard the way you are. You can't give anything cheap. The deflections, letting them get out and run. Not only will they go finish at the rim, but they got Denver Jones and Miles Kelly that will go to the corners or the wing and Baker Mazar and fill it up from three. So, man, control turnovers. If you're Alabama, you can win this game. And if you're Auburn, just go be you and be efficient, and everything will be fine. It's going to be ruckus, though, boy. This is, golly, I would pay money to be at this game.
We have not had Slay on since it was announced. He is one of the latest to be inducted in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations, man.
It's got to be really cool. I mean, you played high school basketball in that state.
No.
And football?
Ain't no excuse. Don't excuse yourself. I will go upstairs and get them back-to-back state football championship rings if you want me to. I was out. Listen. I was playing, I know it's old, I was playing when it was called split end. On my varsity jacket, I got SE, split end. It's a great honor, man. I appreciate you guys acknowledging it, man. I just look at it as somebody left a side window or a door open, and I snuck off in that thing, man. It's an honor, man, being from Nashville. I call myself the Tennessee Mutt, being born in Memphis, raised in Chattanooga, and bred right here in Nashville. And I always try to represent and carry the state and the city on my back, man. Wherever I go, you can hear that Nashville twang in my voice, and you can see me on the court some point, pumping my fist, man, and being able to be in this new state, man. This new platform is pretty cool, man, to be able to have that voice.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, and you're very, very deserving. Little T got a kick out of him saying he's bringing the whole city. Hashtag no roof on the hall. Ain't no roof on the hall, man. You can bring anybody you want.
It's going to be a wild night. I can promise you that.
Thank you, Slay. Always good talking with you, my man. Congrats.
No doubt. Appreciate it, fellas.
All right, buddy. That is Ron Slay, SEC Network, soon to be in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. Can't imagine anyone more deserving. That is State of Tennessee, not Tennessee Volunteer. He's already in that one, by the way.
That's right.
So Ron Slay with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. And don't forget, boys, it is Valentine's Day week.
It is.
Not only do you need to go get that Valentine's gift for the loved one in your life, you need to make sure you head down to the BJCC.
Could do both.
Maybe it's one and the same.
That's right. What says I love you more than something from Johnston RV that you can spend time one-on-one with the baby?
Baby, we're going to see America.
Let's go.
And an RV from Johnston RV. The Birmingham RV Show starts Valentine's Day, goes through the 16th down at the BJCC. You can take advantage of all the show deals on both lots. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. So take advantage of that. But right now, you can also get that at the RV Show. Payments starting as low as $129 a month with approved credit. Great selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motorhomes at Johnston RV Center. See more, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Those great locations in Decatur and Coleman there, just off I-65. Love those guys a lot. Can't wait to see them this weekend coming up. All right. So we've talked a little Alabama and Auburn basketball there with Ron Slay. We talked about the power rankings. The AP poll comes out later. I think we're across the board. We think Auburn should be number one. Brown seems to think Alabama will edge out the vote. Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah, I'm just saying I think that's the way voters are programmed to think. And it's different in basketball because you've got two games between votes, and that's what complicates it. It's easy in football. If you're number one and lose in football, you fall automatically, right?
Right.
I think you've got enough crossover in voter mentality of the football voter and the basketball voter that you'll have a lot of voters that think, they're number one and they lost. I can't keep them there. I got to move them. Number two lost. I can't, if I move one, I got to move two. And there's Alabama. They're number three. They're really good. They only got 3 losses and only one conference loss, the best conference in America. I'm going to put them number one. I just think that's the way the voters will vote. I personally would keep Auburn number one. That'd be the way I would vote, but I think voters will have Bama one.
I could see it play out like that, but I agree with you. I think Auburn will be 1, Bama will be 2, and I think Duke will drop to 3.
I just hope it's 1-2.
Yeah,
Either way, we get a 1-2 Auburn-Alabama basketball game in Tuscaloosa. Something even the Iron Bowl has never given us, a 1 versus 2 matchup.
Do you have you get the feel that Alabama fans kind of wish Auburn would have beaten Florida?
Yeah.
I certainly think they don't want them losing at Vandy in the midweek trap game.
Yeah, a 3-game losing streak doesn't seem possible for this team.
Not for that team. You're exactly right. I would tell you my buddy who's season ticket holder Auburn basketball, I was at his condo to do our post-game show Saturday night. He was like, I'm okay with Alabama being number one in the AP poll. That'll be great motivation.
No, I think both teams want the other team number one, oddly. Just looking at it on social media, I think Alabama fans are fine with Auburn staying one, and Auburn fans would be fine if Bama jumped to one.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine the locker room? They're number one. They took us. Right. They took us down.
Well, I mean, you heard the Eagles yesterday said, "Hey, the three-peat talk really motivated us."
And why not? Why not? So here's my question. And we'll make this our Dr. B question of the day because it's Harry. How many SEC teams do you think really are legitimate Final Four contenders? How many? Auburn, yes, right?
Yep.
Alabama, yes. Okay, go after that. Who else?
Oh, Florida, definitely.
Tennessee.
Yes, Tennessee. Is that where it ends?
Yeah, I'm still. I know Slay put Missouri 5th in his power rankings, and Dennis Gates and Missouri have defied all the odds this year.
They're not going away. I mean, I keep thinking, okay, they're going to go away, but they're not.
They're not Final Four good.
What about A&M?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, that was the next one for me was Texas A&M.
They meet. They're in the Ken Pom window there of the Ken Pom stats that can win a national championship. Every national champion has had them since 2002. They're 15th in the Ken Pom.
I like this Mississippi State team too.
Yeah. Big win, defensive stop.
Well, and you got a guy like Hubbard that can take a game over too.
Yep. So do you?
But I mean, I would put A&M and Mississippi State on that next line. I don't think they're teams that can win a national championship, but they could sneak into a Final Four.
No Ole Miss.
I don't think so. I thought that they were going to get a little bit better. I don't trust them. I mean, teams to win national championships, I think you only go 4 deep.
Well, I'm not. You don't have to win just get there.
Yeah,
just get to the Final Four.
I would go 6.
You go 6. So Mississippi State and A&M?
Yep.
Okay, well, what about Kentucky? They get Lamont back this past weekend. They look totally different when Lamont Butler is playing. Kentucky doesn't do it for you anymore?
No, not right now.
Their defense.
I mean, they've lost 4 of 6.
Yeah. But they won the one with him back.
Their defense 90th in the Ken Pom. Like Alabama's continues to get just a little bit better in that Ken Pom game after game after game. They are 39th right now in Ken Pom defensively. They've been in the high 40s at times this year. So they just continue to improve a little bit in that defensive category. But Kentucky does not. I mean, their defense is still 90th. That's just, you can't win it with that kind of defense.
See, Kentucky and Ole Miss, I mean, it would not surprise me if we woke up after the Elite Eight weekend and either one of them have snuck into that thing. Mississippi State's the one that I did not put on my list. I had A&M, fringe, Kentucky fringe, Ole Miss fringe, but like everybody, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee are contenders. Wouldn't it be crazy? Wouldn't it be crazy if Duke dropped another game along the way here, and with their conference schedule and strength of schedule, Peter Burns brought this up. Is it possible that there could be 4 SEC 1 seeds? They wouldn't do it.
No, they would never do that.
They wouldn't do it.
There, we brought it up the other day back in, was it 19, where there were 3 ACC? North Carolina, Duke, and Virginia were all 1 seed. So that's not unprecedented there, and I think you could easily see that. I don't think you would ever see 4.
Yeah, that's what bracketology continues to spit out right now. Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee on the 1 line. But
yeah, Duke's not going to fall off that 1 line.
No way.
No.
Yeah. Is there another eminently losable ACC game for them?
No, we said Clemson
I mean, end of
was
the year
last
against
one.
North Carolina in Chapel.
Yeah.
Possibly. North Carolina's got to keep playing better. They got a big bubble win over the weekend. They get Clemson tonight. Could be another big win. But that win over Pitt was monumental for the Tar Heels this past weekend. All right, there's a little basketball for you. We jump to college football and back to what we saw in the Super Bowl coming up in our next segment. Also 4 downs coming up in our next segment. The show being brought to you by our friend Dr. B.
Hey, right now, T3 testing. This is a new test that is so easy, painless, affordable, takes 4 seconds to perform. It will show you which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. If you started to thin out, be preemptive. If you want to maintain, you want to grow some back, our man Dr. B is the guy. There are over 10 categories of agents they can use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents 4U and pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims and other products online don't even know if they work. Dr. B has been using this test for over 3 years with amazing results. Stop wasting money and your critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go to Dr. B, find out what will work. Call 205-319-0316. Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business for over 20 years, helping women and men with a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. I do the non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. Hair has more than doubled in thickness. For more information on everything, T3hair.net.
And our friends at New Life Art, don't forget great works of art over the years from Daniel A. Moore. If you're an Alabama fan, it is a website you need to check out. It is danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. Our great friends from New Life Art there, danielmooreart.com. The Legend, a tribute to Alabama head coach Nick Saban. You'll want that piece of work forever and ever to remember the great Saban years. You can get that and use the promo code TNR. TNR is the promo code there. Check out all the great works over the years and a lot more. It is our friend Daniel A. Moore, danielmooreart.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations, the New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service, the New York Butcher Shop.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with a TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rowback. Go to rowback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Okay, 4 downs in just a second. First, our friends at MyBookie bringing you part of the show today. MyBookie.ag. Football season ended yesterday, if you're wondering, until we have a college football game, which will be the next meaningful game. It'll be NFL exhibition. But the next meaningful game you really want to bet on in football, 194 days away. I will say I saw that the Hall of Fame game has moved up to July this year, at least July 31st. So you only have to wait till the month of July to get, unless the UFL's your thing. If you like the UFL.
I've got something to do on my anniversary now.
Well, July 31st? Watch the Hall of Fame game?
Yeah, had to work that into the little
Well,
romance.
y'all watched the game together yesterday.
Yeah. Who were the Hall of Fame inductees? That normally gives you one of the teams.
Jared Allen, Sterling
So that's
Sharp.
Minnesota. That's Green Bay.
Yeah. Antonio Gates, Chargers.
So it'd probably be one of those 3 teams in
And
it.
then there was one other.
I'm going to say you get Green Bay. I think
Eric Allen.
Eric Allen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Green Bay and the Chargers.
Okay.
That would be my projection.
That's your Hall of Fame game projection?
Or Minnesota and the Chargers. You mentioned the UFL. I thought it was pretty impressive that Fox gave 4 commercial promo slots to the UFL during that. That was in the middle of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they own the product.
They do. I mean, they carved out for Fox News and a couple of their programming things, the Costner thing about America. But for UFL slots there in the Super Bowl, that's probably good marketing for them.
Yeah.
That was one of the strangest when they panned the crowd and you had Kevin Costner sitting with Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Of course, I did think it was weird that who was Paul Rudd, Adam Sandler, and Paul McCartney behind them? They're all
Paul
cutting up.
McCartney.
That was actually in. I think that was in the commissioner's suite.
Oh, was it? Paul
It was a big
McCartney
suite.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how long. I mean, to be Paul McCartney's age and still be prominent enough that Fox shows you at a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good shelf life that guy has had.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a Beatle.
Well, I know, but that's my point. Like,
Unfortunately, I thought it was kind of disrespectful the way we were treating Muhammad Ali in his twilight years.
Yeah, they just kept rolling him out
But you
there.
could do that with Paul McCartney, and people are still going to be like, "Damn, he's one of the greatest."
Is this the? Is that the suite?
Yeah, it must have been a Fox suite because there's Rob Manfred. I got the wrong commissioner. I thought it was in a.
Is that Colin Cowherd?
No, that's Rob Manfred.
Yeah,
I never knew how much he and Cowherd looked alike.
Yeah.
Or is that Cowherd?
I think that's Cowherd.
I don't think so. That's Rob Manfred.
Okay.
Yeah, Sandler pointing to McCartney and some other people up there.
Wow, that's quite the box there.
It is. I just was really, really, I don't know. If I was a star, I'd want to go to the Super Bowl. I was amazed at, my wife got a kick out of Bradley Cooper and John Hamm's introduction of the teams. She's like, man, John Hamm almost had a stroke introducing the Chiefs. His face got red, man.
I bet you could have found a lot of volunteers to do mouth to mouth.
By the way, President Trump was the first sitting president ever to go to the Super Bowl. And I teased this earlier. His day started playing golf with Tiger Woods. Then he flew into New Orleans, went to the Super Bowl, and much like Lance Taylor, left at halftime.
That's a higher end version of you. Play golf in the morning, go to the game at night.
The best of both of us.
I know. It really is. Yeah.
You know,
golf in the morning and then leave at halftime.
I think they make it a focus because, seeing certain people, like, there was a prop on how many times would Taylor Swift be shown.
Not much, by the way.
Well, after kick. So I think, like, producers put this in the head, like, let's not show this too much.
Did she get one shot after kick?
I saw one during the game.
I thought there was like a Taylor Swift lookalike because the one shot I saw, it looked like she was out in the crowd.
Oh.
Now, I saw one in the suite, but it looked like another one where she was out in the crowd, which didn't make any sense.
The only one was right before halftime because I just told Maggie there's a buzz that maybe Kendrick Lamar, before I knew Kendrick Lamar was going to maybe do a little ender with either Beyonce or Taylor Swift or somebody. And then as they were getting ready to go to halftime, I had stepped up to go to the bathroom or something. Maggie said, They just showed Taylor Swift. If she's doing halftime, she's faking it good because she's still up in the booth and does not look like she's leaving.
Yeah. They could have wired her down, right?
I've been also done it from the suite. So yeah, they only showed her one. I mean, but Kelsey was doing nothing in the game, so there was no reason to show her even.
Yeah.
MyBookie.ag, you could have played that prop right there, MyBookie.ag, and if you had hit the under, that would have been the winner right there. Since we mentioned it, North Carolina and Clemson now up to 6. It was at 5.5, now up to 6 tonight. And Clemson as the Tigers bounce back from that upset win over Duke where they stormed the court. Dickie V making his return. Pretty cool with all of that going on Saturday. Of course, we got to the game late because we had to show Lakers without Doncic or LeBron playing. Yep. What a call by ESPN on that one, by
They're
the way.
showing it tonight, though.
Yeah, what a call by ESPN. You can play right now at MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to get the sportsbook bonus. What is that? That is 50% in the sportsbook up to $1,000. 50% of your initial deposit up to $1,000 when you use code next round. You say you want the casino bonus? We got you there too. 300% casino bonus when you use code TNR Casino and sign in there at mybookie.ag. Code next round for the sportsbook bonus. Code TNR Casino for the casino bonus. MyBookie.ag, code next round, or code TNR Casino.
Yeah, look forward to some good basketball down the stretch here all the way through March and March Madness with our friends at MyBookie.ag. Little T under the weather today. She is not at work today. She's really sick. But according to business folks, the projected number of Americans who are calling in sick today, 22.6 million Americans will call in sick today. I assume some legitimately sick like Taylor, some just day after Super Bowl party. 22.6 million.
I try to get my workouts in the morning, and it was hard to get motivated today.
Yeah.
Just because you sit around, you're on the couch all day, and you're eating bad.
You eat a little more than you normally do.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. Now, we are really, really close to putting in motion what we've been talking about for a long time. We are just a 1 week gap from having a national holiday next Monday.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
Because they're going to add one more regular season game at some point.
Well, I mean, look, I know Donald Trump's doing us a solid and bringing back straws and getting rid of paper straws.
That's right, yeah.
So you can also knock this out, too. Because I think that is a great American deed right there.
Just go ahead and sign it into a...
Yeah, why not?
I mean, on his way to the game, didn't he sign in to affect the Gulf of America? He signed it as they were flying over the Gulf of America, I believe.
I thought he'd already signed it.
I don't think he had. I think he did it in Air Force One as they're flying over the Gulf. He signed the executive order to make it the Gulf of America, if I read that correctly.
But
there were cameras present.
What can make a Monday worse? A paper straw, right? You go to lunch.
See, I don't use straws, but if I had to use a straw, I certainly wouldn't use a paper straw.
No, the paper straw is awful.
Like as soon as you put your mouth on it, it just.
No, I don't like it.
Oh, I hate it.
I don't use straws a lot either, and so it has not impacted me that much. 4 downs every day, brought to you by our friends at Slice Pizza. If you're coming off whatever you ate for the Super Bowl, how about a nice slice and a salad today for lunch? It is so good.
Yeah, 5 great locations. Get in and see the Bajalia brothers, created by the late Jeff. His brothers Jason and Chris continue to celebrate that legacy. 5 locations: Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. Newest location in Edgewood. To view the entire menu, go online, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Okay, win Super Bowl first, Mahomes again, or I'll give you the combination of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. So Patrick Mahomes wins another.
Right.
Or one of those 3 guys wins their first.
Here's your hot take of the day. Patrick Mahomes doesn't win another one.
So you would go Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
You don't think Mahomes ever wins another Super Bowl?
I've got a feeling he doesn't win.
I would give him one more.
There was speculation going into the week, and he did not address it after the game, that was Travis Kelce's final game. So, you start losing parts at some point. You're getting the fire for the hot take. Yeah. You start losing parts at some point, and it just, you've already lost Tyreek Hill. That didn't really, it looks like Xavier Worthy. He's not Tyreek Hill, but he's still the deep threat that Mahomes needs. You lose Travis Kelce. That one's going to be a lot more difficult to replace.
But, I mean, if he's aging, you find someone else. I mean, it's an organization.
You don't find another Travis Kelce.
It's an organization that has had great success at different periods of time.
Yeah, they just haven't had a lot of postseason success.
Before they got
to
this
before
period.
Mahomes.
But Reed is older. He's a great play caller. He is older. Mahomes eventually gets older. And you start losing those parts, and the AFC is so good.
So good. But I still believe, I think a lot of this is based on the fact that he looked so bad yesterday, Mahomes. And I saw somebody talking about, was this the worst game he's ever played? It might be.
It's the worst he's ever played in a big game.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it is easier to say today, I will give him one more just because he's been so good.
But to answer your question, will you give him one more before Josh, Lamar, or Burrow wins theirs?
No. I think one of those guys will play for it next year. We'll see if they win it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Mahomes ever has to quarterback for another franchise.
Oh, wow.
I don't
could
think
not
he
imagine
will.
that. Like Mahomes late in his career in a Saints uniform.
But, I mean, if you go through all the greatest, I mean, Tom Brady did it. Joe Montana did it.
They both did it to a pretty elite level. I mean, Montana had him in the AFC Championship game, did he not?
Yeah, took the Chiefs to the AFC.
Yeah, and Brady won a Super Bowl in your Buccaneers uniform.
And Manning took a team to the Super Bowl.
Manning was really good his first couple of years at Denver, and then he had the neck issue, and it became about Denver's defense when he finally won his second.
Yeah, and it was about Tampa Bay's defense when Brady won it too, but he was really good offensively after that.
Yeah.
Second down.
Speaking of Andy Reid, current job longer, Andy Reid or Kirby Smart?
Seems like an easy question because of Kirby's age and Andy's age.
Now, Andy did look like he had stroked out on the sideline last night at one point. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he was right before kick.
I don't think his play calling was fantastic yesterday. I mean, he's big on
the offensive line was
coffee. I know when your tackles can't stop.
But when he would call a screen, which that's his offense is built around the screen game, it seemed like the Eagles were expecting it every time. Sometimes Mahomes had to just throw it into the ground. But you're right. If you got no time, your play calling sucks anyway, and they had no time all day long. But I just thought when he tried to throw a screen or call something to try to help his team out. Didn't try to run the ball early. First 3 plays of the game, empty backfield and all passes. I'm going to say Kirby's at it longer, even though we all know Kirby has hinted he could shut it down at any time.
I mean, I could see either one of those guys shutting it down at any time. I don't think Kirby will ever try the NFL route.
I don't either.
I don't either.
I think this is it for Kirby.
Yeah.
I think this is it for Andy Reid. I think it's going to be really tight, though. I think Reid will ride as long as Mahomes does.
Wouldn't shock me.
Well, Mahomes is only 29, so
I was going to ride that I was going to say 6-7 more years.
Yeah.
You think Andy Reid would coach 6 or 7 more years?
I do.
Is he not 67?
Maybe, but again, he hasn't aged since his Philadelphia days.
Well, that's externally. Internally, I'll tell you, it could be a little different.
I would think that outside of football and eating, what does Andy Reid do?
But I would say, which one does he do more?
Oh, man, I don't know. I think it's probably really, really tight, but he just doesn't seem like anybody that would want to do anything else but coach football.
He will turn 67 in March.
Yeah, so if he coaches 7 more years, not even 75.
And I would say, Dunaway, I mean, there is probably a difference in the way your body ages when you are coaching for your job all the time, and a difference in the way your body ages when you're coaching for championships all the time.
I mean, he does have kind of a consistent demeanor now.
That's right. And he's not coaching under the pressure of, my God, we got to get this win, or my staff and I are on the unemployment line. I mean, he's coaching with all the job security in the world. He'll call his own shot out of there.
Yeah.
So I think that affects the way you go to work every day if you're Andy Reid. I'm able just to pour myself into it without any external factors of, is my job on the line or not?
I mean, if I put the over-under at 4.5 more years for Andy Reid.
I'd take the under.
Think I would take the under. Wouldn't feel great about it.
4.5 more years for Kirby Smart.
I think I'd take the under on that, too.
I think I'd take the over.
I think it'd be really tough.
It's easy to talk about walking away. But walking away is a different thing.
Current job longer, Nick Sirianni or Hugh Freeze?
I mean, Sirianni has now been to 2 Super Bowls and has won 1, which pretty much makes him the most successful Eagles coach, I guess, other than Andy Reid, though Reid only went to one, but he was in all of those NFC Championship games. I mean, I don't know who's been more successful as an Eagles coach.
I mean,
Sirianni hasn't yelled at a fan since at least week 7.
That's right. We're past. I mean, that's a term of endearment in Philadelphia. Though they yell at each other.
Yeah. I'm going to go LT. I'm going to say Nick Sirianni is at the Eagles' job longer.
So, I mean, Sirianni, you just look at this. 4 years, wild card, Super Bowl, wild card, Super Bowl win.
I mean, what is wrong with that?
I mean, 6-3 in the postseason, 48-20 overall.
You have not given me anything that would indicate he's getting fired anytime soon.
I am going to say, although Doug Peterson was fired.
Yeah, it took 3 years, though, and Peterson, I think, went to the divisional round, the wild card round, and then missed the playoffs and got fired.
This roster is too good. He will outlast Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, I will say it like this. It'll either be Hugh Freeze turns it around pretty quickly if he's going to be there longer, because Sirianni already has a roster and some success. So we'll have a result to this one pretty quickly, I think. We'll know, because if Hugh Freeze has some success, he's going to win this. But if he doesn't have some success, this one will end pretty quickly with Sirianni still the coach and Hugh being gone in a couple of years.
4th down.
Apparently, winning 2 Super Bowls as a quarterback makes you a Hall of Famer. So I'm going to ask you,
not yet.
Better chance moving forward. Hurts wins another Super Bowl, or Kalen DeBoer wins a national championship at Alabama?
I would say better chance Hurts wins another Super Bowl. Such a good roster. He's already played in 2. He's young.
Yeah, but the roster's young too.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a young roster.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this team's going anywhere anytime soon. They'll be right back in the mix next year.
And they're built on the defensive line. Defense wins championships. But I think it's just hard to win a Super Bowl.
Well, it's hard to win a college football national
championship. How about if I
even
even expanded? If I went Hurts' former programs. Well, I'll go Lincoln Riley. How about this? We go USC or Alabama national championship.
The USC doesn't really change it for me at all.
I don't think them or Oklahoma changes it at all.
Yeah, throw Oklahoma in there too. USC, Oklahoma, and Alabama.
I mean, there's no more difference in that, and then just having Alabama.
I was about to say the field. I'm going to take Alabama and Kalen DeBoer to win a national championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think DeBoer is going to win one. Again, not a great first look with the 4 losses, but I still will take DeBoer to win one. And for Hurts to win it, or Hurts to win another one. Look, I agree. I think the roster's great. I mean,
what's scary for you as a Rams fan is that Sean McVay was so good as a broadcaster yesterday. Did you see any of him?
I didn't see any of it. Mm-mm. Hey, so help me out here.
Really good on.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised, but I mean, still, he's the 3rd youngest coach right now in the NFL.
I'm just saying, if the job that I think he could do in a broadcast booth compared to what Tom Brady did yesterday, and what's Brady making?
Way more than he should be.
Yeah, but Brady, I mean, as good as McVay is, and I do think he is the best coach in football, Brady's name is 10 times bigger.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Maggie Dunaway watched one NFL game all year long, and it was yesterday. And she said, my God, this guy talks about himself so much.
Tom Brady.
In the middle of the Super Bowl, he's talking about himself so much.
What was great is he wore that brick, and the first thing I noticed was that is a watch that is going to jump. And so everybody's going to Google it, and they're going to find out how much that watch costs.
Which is what?
Well, I mean, I heard anywhere from $800,000 to $6 million. I mean, how much is that watch? The one Tom Brady had on yesterday?
Let me check on that.
Yeah, Google Tom Brady watch, because I didn't pay a bit of attention
I mean, it's
to
pretty amazing. But when you've got the gold face like that with that suit, because he's just got basically
black and white.
I'm seeing it at $740,000 from Jacob & Co.
Okay. So very
Jacob
unique
can run
watch.
in a cell right now by chess.
But if you've got
a famous jeweler.
Hey, there it is. Look, you got that classic look. That watch is going to jump.
Yeah, boy.
By the way, that's the picture. If Tom Brady, something bad happened to him, that's the picture On 3 Sports would pick for him to use.
Yeah, and look, Tom Brady is like
hard to make Tom look bad.
So healthy, but that's an Ozempic face.
It really is. He's got the O face.
Does he really?
Yeah,
looks like it.
Look how sunk in that face is. That's what happens when you don't eat meat.
And he would never, I don't think, take something like that.
No.
See, I would have expected Tom Brady to get bigger after retiring.
I agree.
Not getting smaller.
Yeah, he's shrinking.
Well, he's losing his muscle mass is what it is.
Okay, so can I ask a question that
He's just in really good shape.
Yeah.
Can I ask? So, is Jimmy Johnson retiring? Did y'all see that? That was weird. Like they did this whole Jimmy Johnson retirement deal on Fox. He cries, thanks everybody.
Was this after the game?
And then this is pregame.
Oh,
and then Kurt Menefee's like, "So Jimmy, is this it for you?" Well, we'll talk about it. And I'm like, "Well, Jimmy, they just retired you, man. I think they're telling you this is it. Like, I don't think they would run Jimmy Johnson off. He's a legend, but
there's no room for anybody to talk on that.
It is so crowded.
Their segments are so short that everybody gets to say one thing. Gronk says, "Me like football," and then Menefee says something, and then you get Howie says.
Terry says a lot.
Terry trying to jump in there right before they go back to the Kendrick Lamar halftime show, and he starts to say something, and everyone else says something, and Terry never gets to say anything. He was horrible on the post-game podium.
Well, they had the Lady Gaga, and she was playing out front of one of my favorites, Razoo, right there on Bourbon.
Yep.
And I guess they had shot it the night before, 2 nights before. But really, the only people in the quarter were that huge Fox massive panel. Like, they could only invite so many people because they didn't have room for them.
Because there's so many people.
Yeah. Well, it's like watching Get Up this morning. They're apparently at a local station there in New Orleans.
Right.
And that set and that lighting, you realize how good the lighting is at the networks compared to the local affiliate in New Orleans.
It's got to be raining there.
Yeah,
right?
it must be raining because they had that good outside set that they're not using. So it must be raining in New Orleans.
Because, the last time we did a show, I think from New Orleans, we did it from Manning's, right?
Yes, that is correct.
And that's where they were set up, was right outside of Manning's.
Manning's and the Rusty Nail. I remember both those.
I was in a grocery store yesterday that we've actually done a show from. It's just so random, some of the places we've done shows from.
The radio days wouldn't mind getting you out there.
That is 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations, lunch or dinner stop. Get a slice and a salad today. Pick up a couple of pies on your way home. From the Hot Mama to the Soul Pie, you're going to love it. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Hey, Tyler, can you pull up the spotlight for me here real quick? And whenever you pull it up, just hit it here. Let's do a couple of college football notes before we get to the top of the hour.
The College Football Spotlight.
It is presented each day by McCurry Van and Car Rental, the local rental company you can depend on. You depend on McCurry. They got all the cars, trucks, passenger vans, SUVs that are hard to find. They make it easy to rent. In and out fast. Locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest in Coleman, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve that rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
Alabama alums or players that won a Super Bowl championship yesterday. Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, they both scored. Landon Dickerson, who looked amazingly healthy. Tyler Steen, who had to come in at one point for Becton there. And Eli Ricks on the active roster. Byron Young and Cameron Latu also on the Eagles roster this year, but they were not active for yesterday's game. The team, the one school that now has had a player play in 24 on an active roster for 24 consecutive Super Bowls.
Penn State.
It is not Penn State. LSU was tied.
I was going to say LSU.
Was tied with this school until yesterday. There was not an LSU player on either active roster.
This used to be
though
Miami.
Technically, Eli Ricks at one point was an LSU guy.
I'll go Michigan.
Used to be Miami on this one.
Yep. It is the Georgia Bulldogs. 24 consecutive Super Bowls. There's been at least one Georgia Bulldog in there. Does that take you back to Terrell Davis 24 years ago?
Yeah. I think so. 98 was his last Super Bowl.
Probably.
Yeah. So there's been at least one Bulldog active, and that is the current lead in college football.
And Will Shipley more tackles than Jalen Carter yesterday.
Oh.
Wow, that's an upset.
I mean, Jalen Carter just gets doubled and tripled nonstop.
Yeah, but he is a beast.
Still a major factor.
Colorado signs defensive coordinator Robert Livingston to a 2-year contract, $1.5 million, $1.6 million to stay with Deion at Colorado. That defense got better last year.
Oh, much better.
Oh, yeah. And then now there was only one way for it to go. I mean, they were as bad as anybody in college football in Deion's first year.
But I do think that was the difference in them winning, 8 or 9 games last year, was how improved the defense was.
And Neil Brown is on his way to Virginia Tech, according to reports. He's going to be the offensive coordinator for Brent Pry there in Blacksburg.
Big year for Pry coming up.
Yeah, big year. And, Neil Brown, very, very likable guy. I'm still a little surprised that didn't work out.
At West Virginia?
Yeah.
Had that one good year and just never could continue to capitalize on it. And Brent Pry, at Virginia Tech, has shown some signs, but they just, again, that has been a tough job post-Beamer, right? Maybe it's the job. Maybe it just shows you how good Frank Beamer was.
And happy birthday to Ryan Williams, Alabama wide receiver over the weekend.
The joke's over?
He's no longer what, Brownie?
He's not 17 anymore, Jim. He's not only 17. You might not know this.
He's not only 17
Yes.
anymore. Ryan Williams turned 18. I believe it was yesterday, Sunday. Nick Kelly either was awake at midnight at 12:01 or had set the tweet up. But that's where I got my news that it was Ryan Williams' birthday.
I don't know anybody that's ever milked 17 for as long as he did.
Yes, right away. He was only 17 for almost a year.
Yeah, they used to write songs about being only 17.
Do you guys think Ryan Williams will ever play in a Super Bowl?
It's so dependent on who drafts him.
Yeah, I know.
I would say the odds are no. By the time he gets, if he continues to play the way he is at Alabama, he'll be drafted fairly high, which generally means you're on a bad team, which got to work their way to the Super Bowl.
So he'll be in the 27 draft. And who knows who's good by
27,
then.
yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know how good he is by then.
Yeah.
But, that would be his draft.
Flips around pretty quickly. All right, when we come back, winners and losers from the Super Bowl and a lot more to get to. That was our Spotlight brought to you by our friends at McCurry.
McCurryRentals.com is where you start. McCurryRentals.com.
And it's 11 o'clock. That means it's Champy's Hour. Wherever you are, they've just opened the door. Sterling on a Monday after the Super Bowl says, come on by and have lunch on Highway 119 in Alabaster at Southern Fried Chicken. It's brined overnight, cooked to order. It's cooked to order. I'll put exclamation points next to that. You walk in, you order it. It's not already pre-cooked. It's not sitting under a lamp. You say, I want 2 breasts, like Big Jim Dunaway likes when he comes in here.
Big Jim.
They'll drop it. Boom, right then. You'll hear it go all the way out at your table. The sides are there, and then it all comes out piping hot. That's why I recommend, man, get the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales as an appetizer. You finish those, a little slaw there with it, and then boom, here comes the big meal. Boom, there you go. It's perfect. Champy's Chicken, champy'schicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at rowback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's rowback.com, promo code TNR20.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service. The New York Butcher Shop.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, here we go. Final hour of the show. A lot to get to. We'll get back to basketball because in 54 minutes, we're going to get a new AP ranking.
I have never.
Well, I mean, it's
no. I have never anticipated AP poll this much, and it's so meaningless.
It is so meaningless.
I just really want this to be a 1-2 matchup. It's just growing up in this state to see how far both these men have brought these 2 basketball programs. The fact that it would be 1 versus 2 with College Game Day would just. You shouldn't need a bow on it because Bruce Pearl took Auburn to the Final Four, and they just took Alabama to the Final Four. But that would feel like just nationally have them both that good at the same time, you know?
This sounds stupid, and it probably is, but this is more of a accomplishment of what they've built. Because you see teams that make one-offs these runs to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And again, it's an incredible accomplishment. It's great for both programs. But I'm saying to be this deep, you know, if they are to play the middle of February after already going to 2 Final Fours or going to each a Final Four and being 1 and 2 in the middle of February with as deep as this conference is right now, to me, that's a bigger accomplishment.
To show you what you're talking about, I forget who's the main announcer. Is it with Jay Billis, the main crew?
Dan
Schulman. Yeah, really good. Yeah. Really good at what he does.
Dan Schulman and Jay Billis. Jay wasn't at the game day site at Iowa State. He was in Auburn.
Right.
He did his game day part via satellite from Auburn. Because the #1 ESPN basketball crew with its own truck, its own camera guys, its own tech crew was in Auburn yesterday or Saturday for a freaking ESPN2 broadcast. That's how good Auburn basketball in Alabama is.
Thank you, Lakers.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I would agree.
What was that? That was 3 in the afternoon. Same game. This is going to be 3 in the afternoon. Game day is going to be there. It'll be Dan and Jay Billis. It'll be the main crew. On that'll be the 3rd game that I know of that they've done of Auburn and Alabama this year.
When do you guys happen to know, and I'll see if I can find it, when the NCAA releases their seeding during the season? Like they do that one thing where they release.
I forgot.
It's got to be this weekend.
Yeah.
Because it's a month out from Selection Sunday. It seems like it's got to be this
Now,
weekend.
that would be fascinating to see. I would care far more about that than the actual AP poll. But like if Alabama are 1 and 2 in that, Alabama and Auburn are 1 and 2 in that.
Well, pull up the latest Lenardi. He sends out a 1-sheeter. We finally, by the way, busted on Lenardi enough to where he sends out a 1-sheeter every day now.
That's about time.
I believe that. But, I mean, all last week it was 1-2. Auburn and Alabama projected #1 overall and second overall #1 seed. There's no way that has changed.
Yeah, he didn't do one yesterday, but nobody plays in college basketball
I know Ken Palm still has Alabama at 6.
He's got Bama as the 2 overall.
Yeah.
He's got Tennessee as the 4 overall, Florida as the 5 overall, and Texas A&M as the 8 overall.
Yeah.
That's the way he rolls.
And the show Brown's talking about, it's on CBS. It's the big crew that sort of anchors minus Barkley and Kenny the Jet, but the main CBS crew, and it's the selection committee that unveils their top 16. They usually do it 1 month out, and it's an hour show right before the games start. And usually it's 1 month away from Selection Sunday, which I think would be while game day is going on this weekend. I can double check, see if I can figure it out. But you're right, Brandon.
I don't know what to call it. Oh, here we go.
To me, that is much more important, by the way,
right.
what Forster has just pulled up. Auburn number 1 overall, Alabama the 2 overall, and that's been that way for a little over a week.
The men's basketball committee will share its in-season top 16 at 11:30 Saturday, February 15th on CBS.
Yeah.
So right before Bama and Auburn play, we'll get that.
That's 11:30 Eastern?
11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern.
Who was it that said, Peter Burns talking about 4 number 1s?
Yeah, I mean, they're close.
How close is that?
I mean, Florida gets on a heater and Duke loses another one.
Yeah, you never know. So that'll be that. You'll get that before the Bama-Auburn game on Saturday, the Auburn-Alabama game on Saturday. You'll get that NCAA top 16. I don't want to tell them how to do their job, but if they just do a top 25, I think the networks would use that rather than the AP poll, but that's just me.
I think I know the answer before I ask, are you going to Tuscaloosa this week?
I am not going to Tuscaloosa this week. I am going to do what I have done for the last so many years and watch on television.
Little T and I will have a cover on the social media platform. Are you going to be sitting courtside?
I am not planning on going.
Yeah. I mean, you occasionally get really good seats.
Occasionally, but
not this one.
No, I wish I would have. I had season tickets for a long time. The tickets that you thought were bad, I wish I would have held on to those.
You could sell those if you'd have known what was going to happen.
Oh my gosh! Well, if I'd just would have known the direction this program was going,
it was the best investment.
Because I would have sold them to any fans that wants them.
Yeah, it goes back to last week when I was upset that Alabama fans were selling to Auburn fans. My buddy, who's a big Auburn season ticket holder, the day Bruce Pearl was announced. I can't remember if he bought 4 or 8, if he already had 4, but he instantly bought. On the day Bruce was announced, he bought tickets, extra season tickets, just for the resale value.
Yeah.
He knew it was going to be good.
I just wish we could go back the day Saban was hired and buy property
are you kidding?
In Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, just buy old houses that one day are going to be torn down and condos are going to be built.
Just quickly looking back on this end season reveal, it looks like about once a year, or once one of every 1 seed drops to a 2. I think the lowest anybody has dropped from a 1 is to a 3. But back in 2023, Bama was the overall 1 when it was unveiled. Bama, Houston, Purdue, Kansas. Those are your 1 seeds when the tournament rolled around.
That's the Brandon Miller year when Alabama made it to Louisville and lost.
In 2024, Purdue, UConn, Houston, and Arizona were your 1s. Arizona dropped to the 6 overall seed, which was a 2 seed. Down 1. But generally, if you're a 1, I say generally, almost exclusively, the only one I could find that dropped lower than a 2 was Baylor in 2017. They were the 3 overall, which was the number 1 seed. They dropped all the way to the 12th overall, a 3 seed, down 2 spots. But generally, if you're a 1 in this unveil, the worst you're going to be is a 2. So if you see your number on the name on that 1 line, you're probably a 1 or a 2.
And when we talk about the brackets, there's very little difference between the 1 and the 2. Forrest, we're going to do a read here. Can you just find anybody's, it can be anybody's, that's got any 8, 9, 1, 16, anybody's field.
A mock bracket?
A mock bracket, anybody's. I don't care whose it is. I want to just point out how quickly the tournament gets interesting this year. Show being brought to you by our friends at Odie's. Odie's just a great place to swing by and have a nice lunch. It's going to get cold again this weekend. That chili's back in play.
Chili and grilled cheese. You can get it from our man, Rodney Davis. He's been doing it for more than 35 years now, from the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, the chili that we mentioned, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light, of course, the Odie's famous cocktails. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Birmingham Institution, 2 locations, the original and Crestline, newest location right there in Edgewood.
And our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Brownie, if you'll tell us again about those great folks.
By the way, I'm just seeing that apparently I need to text Orlovsky. He was on First Take this morning. We were watching it when they were in that weird setup there. at the end of the show, he said, I'm taking a break. Won't be on TV for a long time. Never know what the future holds, but I'm taking a break. Just want to say thank you. Appreciate you guys so much. That kind of sounds like Dan's future is uncertain.
Well, very weird because last week, and I don't know if you guys saw this, and I think I might have been watching live, but when Dominic Foxworth and Jeff Saturday, and this thing went kind of viral where he was giving his opinion on Josh Allen winning the MVP, and they both were scoffing, and like people really played this up that he was basically getting bullied on the air. And like I saw like 4 or 5 different things coming out of that, like Friday to Saturday to Sunday. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but very strange.
Yeah, that's very odd. So Dan being a little cryptic there at the end. So
we could be losing Jimmy Johnson and Dan Orlovsky in the same weekend?
Could. Or maybe Dan's moving over to the Fox set to replace Jimmy.
Yeah, well, I told you guys, I think I said it in break last week. I was like, man, Dan is just getting better and better on the air.
Well, I would say this.
I do too. I think I like him on the college Saturdays too.
If his contract expired at ESPN, he'd be unemployed for about 2 seconds. I mean, I think CBS would jump at him as a game analyst. And I think that's the thing. I think that's what Dan really wants to do is be a game analyst. I think the studio work is fun. But I mean, he's told us this when he's been on the show. When he goes and does those games, the Monday night games and the Europe game and all that, he loves doing that. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I'll tell you, ESPN, I wouldn't think that they wouldn't want. They do some dumb things, but I wouldn't think that they would want to lose Dan.
Well,
but you wonder now if it was like a decision he's been thinking about. ESPN gets blindsided by this, and they go back and they're like, Neek and Jeff, what were you guys doing bullying our guy?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm telling you, that thing had legs last week. You guys didn't see it at all.
I did not see it at all, no.
I didn't see it at all. A lot of our audience hit us up with Orlovsky on Friday morning. He was tasting jambalaya and the po' boys from down in New Orleans on the set.
He said jambalaya was one of the worst things he's ever tasted.
Yeah, and he did not – he sort of took a bite from the po' boy. I don't know which meat was in it. But he was like, looked like it was fried shrimp.
Yeah.
Like he was eating it. But the jambalaya, like he got a clean plate and looked like he was about to spit it into the clean plate. And he looked and saw that they were still on the wide shot. And so he put the clean plate back down. But he was about to spit it out.
Yeah. No, he did spit it out.
On camera?
Yeah, and Greenberg was like, oh, my God, Greenberg almost got sick or whatever.
I don't know, man. I mean, look, Dan he's going to be fine. He may want to coach. Maybe he's got a coaching gig lined up. I don't know. By the way, this North Carolina Clemson numbers all over the place. We've talked about. I don't know why we've talked about.
I got a play on it, by the way.
Let me know if you find any crazy bracket, anyone for sure.
I forgot we even did that.
He's got it already.
North Carolina now down to a 4.5 point dog. That number went up to 6 last time we talked about MyBookie about an hour ago, and it's dropped to 1.5 since. That's a pretty big move on a game day, I'd say.
Does Clemson have an injury I should know about?
I don't know. That's a big move. 4.5.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
4.5 tonight at Clemson, North Carolina at Clemson. Never imagined I'd talk about that game so much today.
So it's moving.
Well, it moved up, and then it's now dropped back down pretty quickly.
So it's getting skinnier.
Yeah, getting skinnier, Jim.
Yeah, interesting.
You can play that game however you feel about it. MyBookie.ag, code next round in the sportsbook side at MyBookie.ag. Get a 50% bonus up to $1,000. That is a 50% bonus. Wait a minute.
What? Breaking?
Nope. Up to $1,000. Just make sure I was giving you the right numbers there. 50% up to $1,000.
$1,000
at mybookie.ag. That's when you use code next round. Now, if you want to play on the casino side, as many of you like to do, a 300% bonus is there for you on the casino side. Up to $2,000. 300% up to $2,000. That's code next round for the sportsbook side. Code TNR Casino for the casino side at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code next round.
Okay, so we all this talk about being the number 1 overall seed or a 1 seed, and you'd want to be a 1 seed. But you flip it around, the 2 seed usually gets you don't get to play the 1 until the Elite 8 if everything holds chalk. So a 2 seed's pretty darn good too. But look how real it gets for the 1 seed after that easy first round game in round 2. Here's a bracket, and Forrester, you'll help me here. For Alabama, if they were a 1 seed, they would get the winner of the Oregon-Utah State game. Oregon's already beaten Alabama once this year. If you watch any of these late-night basketball games, Utah State could definitely upset the apple cart. If you're Auburn, You get the winner of the freaking Clemson and West Virginia game?
Yeah, boy, I would not want Clemson. Yeah. I mean, that's a team that was playing in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four last year.
And here is the game that I had seen originally. Duke gets them. If Duke won, they would get the winner of the UConn-Oklahoma game.
Oof.
Now, originally, I'd seen this last week that it had Alabama playing the winner of I think it was UConn-West Virginia. And I thought to myself, wait, Alabama would bust their butt all year long to get a 1 seed. And if they beat Omaha, they would go play the winner of the West Virginia UConn. They could get UConn and Dan Hurley in round 2. That doesn't seem like it's worth fighting for, that 1 seed there.
No, so we've, I think one of the things when you used to get a 1 seed, it was like, okay, go on and pencil in playing the 8-9 because you didn't lose to 16s. Because you would have the occasional 15-over-2 upset. And now we've had 2-1s go down to 16s, so it feels a little different. I just wonder what the percentage of 8-9s that have beaten 1s. It ain't high.
It's not high, LT, because I always look at this, brackets for dummy, before I fill mine out. And I always go by this rule: immediately move the 1 seeds to the Sweet 16. And I always move all 4 of my 1s out to the Sweet 16 because that's, dummies 101, how to win your office bracket, is go ahead and move your 1s to the Sweet 16 first thing you do. Because the odds are in your favor, they're going to at least make it to the Sweet 16. But that 8-9 matchup with so much parity now, you tell me, I don't care who it is, if it's Duke, it's Auburn, it's Alabama, it's Tennessee, you want to see UConn in the 1 versus 8 game?
I do not. I don't want to see that brand, no.
Just to get out of the first weekend?
I want to see it as a fan.
Oh, yeah. But if I'm on the other side. So what do you value more about it? I mean, when you say not getting that 1 seed, but getting the 1 seed, for instance, if you're an Alabama or Auburn player and our coach and our fan, all right, any of those things, your first, second round sites are these sites. All right, so you're going to go to one of these. You tell me where you think the overall number 1 would go if it was Alabama or Auburn. Lexington at RUP, Providence, Seattle, Wichita, Cleveland, Denver, Milwaukee, or Raleigh.
Lexington or Raleigh.
Lexington or Raleigh, right?
Yeah.
Here's the big one, though.
But Duke's going to be in Raleigh.
I know. Here's the big one.
They'll find a way there.
Here's the big one. Your Sweet 16 and Elite 8 sites are Newark, New Jersey, San Francisco, California, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, and
Atlanta, Georgia.
State Farm Arena in Atlanta.
Yep.
That's, to me, the big thing there is if I'm Alabama or Auburn, if I'm the overall number 1, I am playing in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Now look, Alabama played in.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's at State Farm.
It's State Farm, not at Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
it's a good basketball.
It really
arena.
is.
Good basketball arena.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you get that. Auburn's already played there and beat the brakes off Ohio State.
That's right.
There.
It'd be a very comfortable place for Auburn. They've played several games.
If Auburn's the number 1 overall seed, their path likely would be 2 games in Lexington, 2 games to Auburn, and then they're in the Final Four in San Antonio.
To Atlanta, yeah.
I mean, Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's first hour and a half away.
And if Bama were the overall 2 or 3, they're probably going to RUP too. I mean, they sent both Alabama and Auburn to Spokane last year as almost, I don't want to say a punishment, but they were both 4 seeds, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you're both 1 seeds, I could see them going both to RUP Arena.
Yeah, they mismatch.
Yeah, that's right. It's not you're not in the same region just because you're in Lexington.
The same location. Then you go off to your region. So Alabama's path, if they're the 2 overall seed or the 3 or the 4 on the 1 line, could be Lexington, Indianapolis.
Yeah, which is not bad either. I mean, those are both drive. I'm just looking from the aspect of the fan.
Yeah,
you got us. Or us. You got some drivable stuff there, right? And you had the issue. But again, fan aside, Alabama had to make a decision last year, didn't they? They'd go to Spokane, they'd go into L.A., and they had to decide, do we stay out west and make this a 3-week journey, or do we come back to Tuscaloosa? You don't have to make those decisions if you're Lexington and Atlanta. Those are easy decisions now.
Yeah. Hey, I think it came down to the laundry for them.
Back to your...
we didn't bring enough detergent.
Brackets for dummies. The last 38 years, 152 1 seeds, how many do you think made the Sweet 16?
152 1 seeds?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 110 made the Sweet 16.
152. How many do you think over the last 38 years have reached the second weekend?
So I've got 152 1 seeds.
Yep.
Would you say 110?
110.
That's probably, I'd say I may be too low. I'm going to go 120. What is it?
128.
128.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the brackets for dummies is right then.
So really, it's been
less than one a year.
Yeah,
by average,
it's about every year and a half.
Yeah,
you get a one that goes down to 8-9.
And when Alabama went to the Elite Eight, they pulled one of those few upsets in that 8-9. That 8-9 game always looks scary. Unfortunately, I don't know if you still have that bracket. Can you pull it back up?
Well, he's pointing out. Scott pointed out to me. Look who Kentucky's playing. By Kentucky. Oh,
and by the way, it is getting more prevalent. If we just break it down to the last 10 years, of the 41 seeds, only 30 have gone to the Sweet 16.
So who St. John's is playing?
Who they got? Sanford?
How about them Bulldogs?
Bucky versus
Bucky
Pitino.
Drew KU last year.
And Pitino this year?
That's tough.
Hey, Rick Pitino doesn't want any of that at all. By the way, if you're a 2 seed, though, look at here. Florida is a 2 seed. You'd get the winner of Louisville-Vandy. Well, I mean, you tell me, same region. Duke is a 1 seed, winner of UConn, Oklahoma, or Florida is a 2 seed, winner of Louisville-Vandy. Which one would you want?
Well, I think UConn's just scaring you because of what they've done the last 2 tournaments.
Well, I mean,
there's a reason why, though, LT.
But, I mean, notice how quickly, if there are that many SEC teams in, you're getting to conference on conference.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on day 3 of the tournament by that point, and we're getting conference on conference.
Texas A&M's a 2 seed in the bracket we're looking at. They get the winner of St. Mary's and Ohio State. Meanwhile, Auburn will be playing the winner in the same region of Clemson, West Virginia.
Hey, tell me, is that a Mississippi State 7-10 against Gonzaga?
That is what that is, and winner gets Purdue.
Winner gets Purdue.
Yeah.
Yep. By the way, in Alabama's bracket in this projection, they have Oregon and Purdue, which are 2 of Alabama's losses in that bracket. That bracket won't work out. That bracket won't work out.
Well, they also have SEC's Georgia and Mississippi State. I mean, that's one thing you're going to have to look at. If you're any SEC team that's got a high seed, you're going to have to dig through your bracket, see who else you like. Tennessee's got Kentucky in theirs.
Long, dangerous Arizona. Dusty May's Michigan team playing a lot better recently. You've got Marquette, who at one time looked like they could legitimately be a Final Four team. That's a tough bracket.
If you're Dusty May, do you take Indiana? You're old school. Do you go back to Indiana, or do you stay at Michigan?
Depends on how much you love your old school.
I'd stay at Michigan.
What
I mean,
does Indiana?
It typically amps up the pressure when you go back.
Indiana looks like a
I think Michigan is a better basketball program right now.
They seem to be a better athletic department than Indiana's. And
of course, we say that with Kirk Cignetti coming in and winning 11 games.
I know, but I feel like I could get more money at Michigan. I think I'd stay if I was Dusty May. All right. I want to go back to winners and losers of the Super Bowl before we get to trash. Show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services LT. Hot and cold. Crank it up this weekend. I think the high temperature's going to be in the
I was going to ask you guys, how bad is the weather going to be this week?
I think the temperature some days is going to be as bad, but there's going to have rain on those days. And then after the rain, it's going to be cold. It's just crappy. Look, I mean, we've had worse. I'm just looking at it from a golf perspective.
Me too.
I was out in shorts and a golf shirt twice last week playing, and now this, But hey, it's February.
Friday, I was sweating on the golf course.
What did you, before you do this, do you remember? Oh, I was too. I played 9 Friday and was not drenched, but I was sweating.
Found out the AC in the car is not working.
Oh, dear.
Because of the temperature change, which is good that it happened now.
Yeah.
We're going to get it knocked out before we get into this consistently hot weather.
Yeah.
Before it's 98.
Yeah.
What I always tell you guys, so Lance, we're in the 60s some this week. But rain normally. What I always tell you guys is once in this part of the country, once we pass Valentine's Day, your long periods of bad weather are over. Cold weather. You might get a cold day, but like 3, 4, 5, 6 stacked on top of one another are over after Valentine's Day. That's my line of demarcation. Once I pass Valentine's Day, the golf weather is pretty much here to stay.
AC was cut on in the house this weekend, though. Look, whether it's the AC, the heater, whatever you need to make sure that they are ready to roll. Our friends at Hemp Hill Services, they can do that for you. Whether you experience any of these issues in your home or business, ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
We've already talked about Sirianni and Hurts as big winners from the Super Bowl. How about Tom Brady's legacy as the GOAT? Do you think
it's safe?
I mean, Mahomes now is 3-2. Brady was 7-3. Am I right about that? He played in 10, won 7.
Oh, he lost both to Manning and lost one to Foles. Yeah, that's right. 7-3.
So 7-3, which included, we do this all the time. Sorry for us, which included one monumental comeback. which you got a chance to talk about.
That's
that
the only
yesterday.
thing I heard you talking about. I don't think you said it on the air, but you were talking about like Fox trying to drag us into, we've still got some drama going on at Super Bowl 59.
Oh my gosh.
And our buddy C. Stu was like, okay, I think it's finally over. And it was after the Devontae Smith. But I was like, dude, this thing's been over since 2 minutes before half.
At one point in the fourth quarter, it was under 8 minutes to go. I can't remember the exact scenario, but Brady said, you do not want to give this back to number 12. And I'm like, the guy's done nothing all game. Number 15, I'm sorry. Number 15. I'm like, the dude's done nothing all game.
Yeah, you can give him 3 grenades.
And, they don't have to blitz to get to him.
I was explaining that to Maggie. I was like, you've got a 2-minute timeout, and you've only got 3 timeouts to stop the clock. At this point, when it was 40-6, they could take knees.
Now, when they said it out loud is when it really resonated with how stupid the new onside kick rules are.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they can't use an onside kick because it's not the fourth quarter yet.
Yeah.
That was stupid.
Yeah. Like, you should be able to kick an onside kick whenever you want.
Just for that reason right there, they should go back. Concussions be damned. They should go back to the way you kick it off.
Concussions be damned.
Well, I mean, I would love. Do we have any substantial evidence that somebody has?
Oh, concussions are way down.
Oh, what? No, I'm just talking about from the onside kick, though. I'm talking about from kickoffs. I get it. Like the onside kick, you don't see a lot of violent collisions. That one guy will get lit
there was
up.
on that first one. On that first one, they sent a guy fired out of a cannon.
One guy will get lit up, but again, you just don't have the space to be able to build that momentum.
See, I always like Lance. He'll sacrifice one for the betterment of the masses.
Of everyone. But I was going to ask, has anybody ever been out for a long period of time based on an injury sustained on an onside kick?
That I do not know.
I can't remember somebody being carted off.
I am for the action play.
Me too.
And I think people would initially be resistant as gimmicky, but I think as time goes on, you would accept it more. Are you okay with the action play?
Me too. 4th and 20 from
4th and whatever. 20 seems a bit long for me, but okay.
4th and 20 from wherever you want it.
4th and 15 maybe.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it, I get it right there.
I get it right there. If you do get it, it's 1st and 10 from wherever the play ends.
But you don't have to wait till fourth quarter. Anytime you want to try it.
That's right. It's 1st and 10 from wherever the play ends. Like if you get 30 on that play, you're 1st and 10 from there.
That's right. You just play it from right there, 4th and 20. I'm okay with that, bro.
Well, now, my only problem with the action play is, especially in the NFL, I just chunk it up and I get a roughing the passer. Now they've got a first down.
Pass interference.
Or a pass interference, either one.
Hey, how did that work yesterday on the strip sack with Mahomes? Because that was definitely a shot to the face.
100%. I could not believe it in flag.
Yeah.
For all the talk of how Kansas City gets all the penalties.
They didn't get one call. They didn't get one call.
They did
got
on
the
that first play.
The first PI.
The PI that went against A.J. Brown was not pass interference.
They totally made up for that on the next
Absolutely they did. Yeah, it was a makeup call.
Which led to the first touchdown.
But I was shocked because, that was so obvious. And then somebody was like, well, it was post-possession. I'm like, if you throw a pick like that, it doesn't matter.
It's a quarterback. The quarterback is a call all the time.
Just go back to LSU South Carolina this year. After an interception, the quarterback is still protected.
Yeah.
That was a horrible call in the LSU South Carolina game.
But he was protected is the reason they made the call.
But he was protected, and it was a horrible call.
Yeah, no, that was a big miss right there. It's a clear hand to the face.
Yeah. And my other winner I wrote down other than Tom Brady's legacy was us as football fans, because I don't know if he was really hurt or not, but the big Chris Jones, after the tush push, what did they show?
Well,
he's on the sideline. He's getting his.
I know.
He had a stinger or a pinched nerve.
He was getting his spine checked out, his neck connection to his spine there, and that's the kind of thing.
I thought.
That's the kind of thing that will get that play outlawed
because it's on the biggest stage. This is the biggest television audience you'll have all year for anything, not just football. And there they are saying a singular play could have caused an injury to one of your stars.
A spinal injury.
Yeah.
Well, and a frustrating play that nobody can stop.
Yeah.
But see, I think the reason they showed it on the broadcast is I don't think the TV people like it either, because it takes, it's 4th and a yard and a half. It's almost like, it's a 99% given.
Well, you heard on their first 4th down they went for the 4th and 3. They're like, well, they're not lining up in the, in the tush push.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's six feet, man. It's not, a 4th and 1, 4th and almost 2, 1.5 is a give me.
Yeah. But see, doesn't that almost hurt your enjoyment of watching them
a little
play?
bit? It's such a
it's 4th and 1.
That's
it's a given.
I had a buddy who was like, why did they even try to defend this? And I was like, the only thing you hope for, long shot of fumble, but just a false start. Yeah, that's it.
Well, the last thing they thought was a given was the extra point. They moved it back and made it a more complicated play.
That's right.
You get a lot of missed extra points now. It used to be almost automatic.
Yep.
I don't know what they could do about this.
Boy, that poor long snapper on the field goals.
How
for
weird
the
was
Eagles,
that? Yeah.
Whatever twitch he had, they caught him 3 times.
Yeah. Jake, every time Elliott had to back
so,
up.
we do that pool with the numbers.
I thought about that, yeah.
And I had multiple people that were grabbing $100 on those made field goals from Jake Elliott that were pulled off the board.
Yeah. Because the change in yardage changes the winner. Is what
I
you're saying,
think in 16 categories, I think Drew won 7 yesterday.
Drew did?
That's a record.
Not AB.
And it was the number 4.
Oh, Drew.
I don't know if AB cashed at all yesterday.
Oh, wow. That breaks my heart to hear that.
You know, there are a lot of people unhappy with that. AB's wife, the federal government for reporting the taxes. All right, trash coming up on the other side on the show here. So hang around, and we'll get back to basketball. What Todd Golden thought of winning on the road. First time in Florida history to beat a number 1 team on the road. You'll hear from Todd Golden and Nate Oates before we get out of here. This is The Next Round.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Back with you on the next round. LTD and B with you. Little T, EG, Forrester, and Tyler all rolling around. The coaches poll is out. Brownie has an update on the coaches poll and something to laugh about.
Yeah, which one do you want first? Coaches poll or something to laugh about?
Give me.
This is the most just so random. Is why I'm laughing. It's just completely random. I just saw it on Twitter.
Give me the coaches poll.
I don't know if this is a harbinger of things to come or not. I really don't pay that close attention to the college polls, but Alabama has moved to number 1 in the USA Today's coaches poll. Now, I don't know how closely those two mirror one another.
Which could make it. You think it's unique to have 1 versus 2?
Oh,
it could be the first ever 1 versus 1 matchup in
yeah,
basketball.
What about that? State. This is the battle for the actual first place team. The other thing, by the way, if Alabama wins at Texas and if Auburn wins at Vandy, it's for outright possession of the SEC lead, which to me is far more important than who's ranked where.
That's right. SEC regular season championship race where they're tied right now, both 9-1.
Because I believe the SEC overall champion is a lock, maybe overall number 1.
Yeah, I think overall number 1.
I'd say a lock 1, but maybe a lock overall number 1. So your coaches poll, and this is interesting. I wondered where some of the first place votes, and you don't get them in the coaches poll here. Alabama is number 1. Auburn is number 2. Florida is number 3. Tennessee is number 4. They dropped Duke all the way to number 5, down 3 spots to number 5.
And by the way, that wasn't a bad loss.
I know. They lost a tight one at Clemson.
Yeah. It was considered their last losable game.
Yeah,
on
I would
regular
assume
season schedule.
that Clemson is ranked now.
Clemson is 19th. No, they already had them ranked even.
Yeah,
they lost to a ranked team.
I know they were 25th, but didn't they lose the game before?
So Brown, this is it right here. You're telling me the coaches poll, and we see it now on the screen. Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee. The SEC is 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the basketball coaches poll rankings.
And let me quickly say, I apologize that you do have the first place votes there. Alabama got 15, Auburn got 16. So a pretty good split on your first place votes, almost as even as you can get it with an odd number.
Yeah. So that's only 31 coaches that came up with that.
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know again how much that mirrors the AP poll or not. So I don't know if that's a harbinger of things to come, but you will have Alabama at least in one poll, number 1, and Auburn number 2.
Insert your jokes there. 31 coaches smarter than 62 media people.
That's probably true.
On the AP poll, which is coming out at the top of the hour here.
Now, the rando story.
Okay, go ahead. I thought that's what made you laugh.
No. This is what made me laugh.
Can you tell you about Woodhouse? And
yeah,
then give me the rando
it's
story?
just so random.
Give me the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Hey, look, Valentine's is right around the corner coming up this week. If you're looking for an incredible gift for that significant other, make it the Woodhouse Day Spa. A couple of things you can do. You can stop in. They're located conveniently at the Summit Shopping Center. Beautiful location up there. Get it in, see Stewart and that great staff. Tell them the next round sent you. Or you can order that gift 24/7 online. You can go right now to birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Let her select from a menu of over 70 options right now, including the massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or just stop in. Pick it up right there at the Summit Shopping Centers. Tell them the next round sent you.
So when President Trump was elected, J.D. Vance became vice president, which means he vacated his Senate seat representing the state of Ohio. So the Ohio lieutenant governor was appointed to that seat. So now Ohio has named a new lieutenant governor. You guys all know his name.
Jim Tressel.
Jim Tressel.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, just so random. Jim Tressel is the new lieutenant governor in the state of Ohio.
Looks like a politician.
He really does.
How about
the
that?
sweater vest is why you say that.
Yeah, probably.
Now, does he go back and pardon Maurice Claret? Interesting.
Jim Tressel, your new lieutenant governor in the state of Ohio.
By the way, find you somebody that loves you like Kiki does. Kiki Hernandez is back with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Fifth time?
It's the fourth time. I have fourth.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the fifth that he has been either traded, let go, gone to another team, and has come back to the Dodgers.
He's had some big moments, man, known for those yoga pants, but a guy that he is a Swiss Army knife, can do so many different things, and he's a fan favorite.
And then here is your amazing stat of the day. It comes from the Field of 68 guys, so I guess it was brought up on the San Diego State basketball broadcast this past week. Tony Gwynn played college basketball at San Diego State.
Yep.
He had more assists in his college career than he had Major League Baseball strikeouts in his 20-year baseball career.
Unbelievable.
He had 590 assists at San Diego State in 4 years of basketball and only 434 Major League strikeouts in 20 freaking years.
Greatest hit I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's an amazing. I mean, you had to be a really good basketball player to dish at 590 and play 4 years at a program as good as San Diego State. What an athlete he was there. That's a pretty amazing stat. I guess it's a trash today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Hit it, Tyler.
Do y'all usually start before 8 o'clock with a chainsaw?
What time is it, sir?
Well, it's after 8 now. You guys started firing it up at 7:55.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Different neighbor, but the neighbor across the cul-de-sac. Ryan, great dude. He's a guy that looks like Nick Sheridan. I've told you guys.
All right.
But a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan.
That's right.
They fly that flag nonstop, and I could see just cars sprinkling along the cul-de-sac all day getting ready for the party. And at halftime, I had to take some trash out, and I was like, boy, I bet that party is dead.
Yeah, boy. It's going to be tough to keep that one going.
Because what was it half? 27-0?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, we don't have any more alcohol.
Hey, it is buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham veterans has not changed. Before you take those next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to the website, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. So this is something you don't see every day. Now, back to New Orleans, you see the cop on horseback a lot.
That is correct.
But you don't see this in Florida a lot. A Florida man found himself in a wild chase, but instead of a patrol car, his pursuer was a relentless police horse. Jordan Wilson, 25, caught handing off illegal drugs on Tuesday morning in Jacksonville, according to the police report. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office said he then tried to run, but he didn't anticipate the sheriff's mounted unit closing in fast. Now, the Sheriff's Office shared body camera footage of the chase on social media. Wilson can be seen running into oncoming traffic in an attempt to escape. Officer Cassie Hare, with her police horse Nash, quickly sprang into action. You can hear her say, quote, "Get that bad man, Nash. Hey, get on the ground. You're going to get run over."
Feels
she
like
continued.
a really bad line in a movie.
Yep, it does.
But otherwise, it's pretty BA right here. I mean, you're not going to outrun a horse. I mean, that's just number one. You are not going to outrun a horse. You're not faster than a horse.
I mean, do you not get a little concerned you get clipped by traffic?
Okay, here's.
Oh, if I'm on the horse?
No.
Or from the runner.
Either or.
Yeah.
From the runner, yeah.
I excuse my ignorance here.
Okay.
Does a horse cut well on asphalt? Like,
I don't know.
it seems like that would be a slippery situation if it has horseshoes on.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I would zig and zag, much like a crocodile or an alligator chasing you.
Yeah.
I do believe that if you're a mounted police officer, you should be able to, only if you use old school Texas, the 6-shooters, you should be able to pull from holsters and fire while riding
you're
a
on
horse.
the horse? Yeah. I went gangster style right there. I
I
turned
don't
it
know
sideways. I don't either. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the perp they're running down, I know this is just a quick look, but it looks like his left hand's reaching for something in waistband. I mean, you could have shot him right there and beat.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm on the jury, I'm like, okay, I can justify that. I know his back was turned. But
I know I've said this 6 or 7 times in 15 years. I do want you on my jury, yes. Because you're right. It does. He's probably just cutting left and is high pointing the drugs. But I would agree with you. I would take a shot.
So here are the horses in Jacksonville they use. I've never really noticed this, and I try to spend as least amount of time as I can in Jacksonville. But
this is in Duval.
Yeah. So this is Nash was the horse here. Right. There's also Jax, JAXX, Judge, and Duke. And they say making sure justice was the main MANE priority.
I see what they did there.
By the way, interior offensive lineman is this guy's position.
Your hand in the dirt. Yeah. I would say, I mean, the horse is pretty inefficient normally. Like, you're probably not going to use him a whole lot at night to chase criminals, but efficient in the fact that he can go a lot of places cars can't.
Yeah.
Which is where the runner's trying to go too, by the way.
Florida attorney Mark Rohr, 52, accused of assaulting man with a dinner plate at a wedding reception following a dispute over line cutting at the Boca Lago Country Club in Boca Raton.
Yeah, you know where he's not eating? He's not at Mr. Chin's.
Yeah.
Now, according to the Palm Beach County jail records, the altercation escalated from a verbal confrontation to a violent incident, resulting in Rohr's arrest. Now, the clash unfolded January 18th, with County Sheriff's Office detailing the events that transpired at the prime rib carving station during the wedding reception.
Yeah.
I'm never a big fan of the carving station.
I'm not a fan of prime rib.
Yeah, I'm not either, really.
Yeah. I knew this was not a salad plate. I can promise you it was not a salad plate.
How do you look in the mirror and you say, you know, with my hairstyle, my jawline, I'm going to go this. Is that a goatee? Is that what you call it?
That's what that would be, a goatee,
If shit goes off the rails for Jay Glazer at Fox,
that's what he's
going to
look
look
like.
him in his latter years.
Yeah, I'm going to back away with my photo comparisons here, but that's a bad
boy.
Now, according to this, Rohr allegedly became incensed when two young girls purposely cut in front of him at the buffet line. Enraged by this breach of etiquette, Rohr confronted the father of one of the girls. Probably not a good move here, setting off a chain of events that culminated in a physical altercation. Now, eyewitnesses and the victim provided their accounts of the altercation, painting a picture of escalating tensions and sudden violence. Now, the victim recounted how Rohr approached him, engaged in a heated argument, and then struck him on the head with the dinner plate without warning. Situation quickly spiraled into chaos as other wedding guests became involved in the melee. Now, another witness corroborated the victim's statement, affirming that Rohr's actions were unprovoked and aggressive. The witness described how Rohr aggressively confronted the victim, leading to the violent assault with the dinner plate. Upon being questioned by authorities, Rohr initially invoked his Miranda rights, but later agreed to provide a statement during the custodial interview. He also wanted everyone to know that the reception was, quote, a dry party, implying that alcohol was not a factor in the altercation.
That makes it even worse, by the way.
But food was.
Yeah.
He truly loves prime rib.
Oh, who likes prime rib that much? Do y'all like prime rib?
No.
I don't.
No.
Never liked it.
By the way, it looks like he wears his sunglasses way too tight.
Oakley's, I'm presuming.
Like he looks like me above the eyebrow. But then the sunglasses are so tight he has squeezed everything else, and that's why it's bulging out here.
You think this guy's a Blade Oakley's guy?
Could be. Yeah.
I bet he plays golf.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yep. Hates the 90-degree rule. Hates cart path only.
Hates cart path only.
He puts clubs back in the cart when it's cart path only.
CPO, you kidding me?
That right ear is trying to play hide and seek.
Yeah,
like really bad.
The right one's ahead of the left one.
Like we've almost got you out of here.
Yeah, that's right.
Very, very close.
So you're on my right side. I can't hear you.
So, two men arrested in Osage Beach last week for drug possession after they stopped their vehicle and asked law enforcement.
Whoa.
We should just do. We should just do a mugshot segment every day.
Okay, so wait, get this. These two guys are walking down the road. They pull over to a vehicle with cops in it with a drug-sniffing canine and ask for directions. Aaron Reagan, 27, was charged with drug possession and misdemeanor driving. While revoked, he is being held at the sheriff's office on a $7,500 bond.
So wait.
Richards.
So I've got drugs.
Yep.
I'm going to pull over and ask a police officer with a canine sniffing dog for directions.
Yes. Anyway, do you know the way to that drug drop I was going to? I am so sorry.
So Alan Richards, 27, charged with drug possession, is being held on a $15,000 bond. A press release from the Osage Beach Police Department says that the department was preparing to start canine training when a vehicle driven by Reagan pulled up next to him. The men in the vehicle asked for directions on how to get to Osage Beach. Officers said they were already in Osage Beach. Officers noticed the men appeared to be impaired. According to the release, another officer brought out their canine partner to sniff around the vehicle. 2 grams of meth were found in the jar in the vehicle.
The guy on the right's like, I told you, Reagan, that dog would sniff you out. And he did.
Well, I tell you what.
You just shut down the training at that point? The dog passed.
Oh, yeah, easy, yeah. Imagine being so beat up by any event that you get a memorial ribbon on your throat.
Well, that's got to hurt.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the old black ribbon. On your throat.
But what is the action on the side of the top ribbon?
It looks like the ribbon
fist bump?
It looks like the ribbon is broken.
It does look like the ribbon is.
I'd like to know.
Snapped.
I'd like to know the story behind that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a memorial ribbon, but that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it does. This looks like it's never forget.
Now,
It looks like my man ate some poison ivy too.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
A lot going on there, boys.
Yep.
Looks like he's trying to have a tattoo or two burned off. So what that looks
So I just looked it up, and it says a torn ribbon tattoo, and it's got a picture of this same tattoo. Typically symbolizes a struggle overcome, a battle fought through hardship, or a personal journey marked by challenges.
And the way I remember that, Tyler, is a tattoo on my throat.
Yeah.
I like see it in the mirror every day.
I'm going to hope it works out for this guy, but man, bad way to show it. Finally, Memphis Zoo in Tennessee celebrating Valentine's Day with a fun promotion. By the way, I went to the zoo yesterday.
You did?
Yeah, how random is that? The zoo.
I was a dead
did it
hit,
yesterday?
Yep.
On Super Bowl Sunday, you went to the zoo.
this is so random. Like, so I went on a surprise date like 6 months ago with Maddie. Took her to the zoo. We got there. There were lines like 300 yards deep, and I was like, "We ain't going."
Was
to the
that
zoo.
the Christmas lights at the zoo?
No. This was just a random day. I had no
Okay.
idea what was going on. So then Saturday, I was going to pull the surprise again, and we got there, and it had closed. And so I went back yesterday, and the weather was terrible. And by the way, if you're an animal at the Birmingham Zoo, you drew the short straw.
Why?
It's not the zoo I remembered. Just a lot of the animals aren't around anymore.
Well, it's still better than being out in the wild, though.
Oh, I disagree.
Oh no, they bring you your food. You literally don't have to go hunt it down, Lance. I just lay right there in that place where they bring it to.
Jaguar is a beautiful animal,
Yeah.
apex predator.
That's right.
And it's in this enclosure by itself. It's small.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No, there's a back door. They get out and run.
No.
on a big
no,
line.
no.
Not out on 280 though.
No, they really don't. I mean, the elephants have the biggest enclosure, not big enough. The rhino was extremely pissed yesterday. Started to scratch off like he was going to charge.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can check out that entire zoo in 30 minutes.
Have you ever seen the Cat Williams bit about the lions? I love Cat Williams. It is so freaking hilarious. He talks about how they just. Have you seen it, Dunaway?
I've seen, yes, about the person that goes in.
The person that goes. Well, no, it was right after somebody. I think at the Cincinnati Zoo, and I
speaking of
remember
which,
doing the story on trash.
I only saw one line. He was by himself yesterday too.
He goes. He talks about how the lion goes on and roars every day. He goes, "Did you see that woman take a picture of me with her cell phone?" It's so Cat Williams. And then the guy jumps over the railing. He goes. I mean, he's like down on the ground like a lion. He goes, "This is not a drill."
This is not a drill.
It's such a funny bit. I love Cat Williams.
So for a $10 donation back to the Memphis Zoo, fans can send one of two videos: a cute red panda munching on a grape, or a humorous video of elephant pooping. This dating or dumping offer lets you send a fun Valentine's gift to your sweetheart or ex. The options for the Valentine's Day surprise gifts are, quote, an adorable video of a red panda munching on a grape, or a stinky video of an elephant poop hitting the pile.
Okay.
Now, they go on to say, quote, you got an ex that deserves this surprise. This Valentine's, let an elephant do the talking, or maybe you found one that you want to spend or send them something adorable. Our red pandas have got you covered. Only $10 each, plus your participation supports the care and conservation of over 3,500 animals at the Memphis Zoo. So there you go.
I saw Red Panda not long ago. She was at the Bama Arkansas game. We were talking about Red Panda. I saw they showed her at halftime, Bama Arkansas.
Hey,
She
no,
rose
around.
No silverbacks, no gorillas either.
Really? At the Birmingham Zoo?
Is there a chance they were just somewhere else and you didn't see them?
Sea lions are gone too.
Oh, well, dang.
You got some otters in one little exhibit, but the sea lions.
Feel like I can see an otter out in the wild.
Yeah. And like I remember they used to have cobras. There was no cobras. Got a timber rattler. I'm trying to think of the other poison. It's got a cottonmouth that was pretty thick. But, the alligators, because it was cold, they were hiding out. Saturday would have been a good day for the alligators, and then the bears are still hibernating.
Yeah. That's trash, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, our friends at Mortgage Right want to remind you, whether you're buying your first home or final home, no cost or obligation to get some advice from the mortgage experts. You can call them today, 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
All right. Todd Golden got the big win. Our Champy's Sound of the Day to end this hour, brought to you by our friends at Champy's world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. A lot of Champy's locations in our viewing and listening area, but none like the one Sterling has. For over a decade in the same location on Highway 119 in Alabaster, Sterling makes it an atmosphere that sets it apart from any other restaurant in the area because it's homey, It has a great, memorabilia on the wall. It basically turns it into a juke joint. The food is always consistently 100% brined overnight fried chicken, hand-cut chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It's a destination lunch location, championschchicken.com. Here is Todd Golden, the young Florida coach, after the big win, beating number 1 Auburn down at Neville this past weekend. Here's how he saw it.
It's an incredible win for our program. I thought our guys were fantastic for 40 minutes tonight. We were able to withstand a little rush early in the game, which we knew we were going to see. And, over the last 36 minutes of the game, I thought we were just about as good as you can be in an environment like this. We took care of the basketball, limited their opportunities to run out in transition. We rebounded really well until about the last 8 minutes of the game. I thought we defended very well, limited their opportunities to get transition baskets, which is a huge key to giving yourself a chance to compete in here. And as I told the guys in the locker room, to win a game like this, you got to step up and make some shots. We made 13 threes. We were 15 for 18 from the foul line, and our players deserve all the credit for this victory today.
Well, I tell you what, if I was in North Carolina or in Indiana, or starting my own program today, age becomes a factor with the Bruce Pearls and Rick Barnes of the world. Nate Oates won that guy too.
Yeah,
that would be my targets from the SEC.
And the unfortunate thing, the first thing people will think about is that stupid report that apparently got debunked in the Alligator or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's going to hang over his head.
I mean, Chris Beard would be in there too, but I swear I think it'd be Oates one, that guy number 2.
I agree, Brown. If he can keep recruiting Australia, Alex Condon, man, that guy plays side to side so smooth.
Well, and he's right. They did hit big shots. But, I mean, to go on the road to Neville and to score 90.
Yeah, you got to have a stud like Walter Clayton. 19 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. Big win for them.
And played all 40 minutes. And this is a guy that was, we thought he was a little nicked up with the ankle.
Midweek.
No.
They said him midweek. And I feel like Todd Golden said him midweek to have him 100% for Saturday.
Saved him for Auburn?
Yeah. That's the way
smart play if he did.
AP poll is about to come out. Taylor and Forster will have that for you on our social media network as that drops at Next Round. At Next Round Live, on Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere throughout the day. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. New Bama and Bourbon this week. I didn't have a basketball show today. Taylor, a little under the weather. We'll be live after the games tomorrow. LT, if you had a guess on point spread tomorrow, Auburn at Vandy, Bama at Texas.
Auburn at Vandy, Auburn 7.5. Alabama at Texas, Alabama 5.
I was going to say 4.5. Yeah. We'll get the real lines tomorrow for those 2 road games. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.